Why you remain at a dead stop? Loving how we vibe, we put in work like a sweatshop. Abundance in the fullest, ain't no time for a rest stop. Much to do but staying present in my headstock. Now playing your game, sure to twist me like a dreadlock. Get to know the name, we elevated just like red rocks. Grounded all the same, we together like the bedrock. Yeah. Gotta keep your energy flowing. So get your ass up off the floor. In time you develop a knowing that there is no limit when your conscious is soul.
Relentless, non-stop shock, your senses manifested. So I put it in a sense. It's around, but you see life through a square lens. Hard to be magic men, walking with blind friends. We took this job to get this world unlocked. We were told it's an end game, but it's really a game stop. Face these fears, then we rise from the dead. The price of freedom, the symphony, you die instead.
Here's why we stay relentless. Get caught up in the fray. Now you're just a beast. Don't even try with your shitty cliche. That's why we stay relentless. Tonight get caught up in the fray. Now you're just a beast. Don't even try with your shitty cliche. Summer's happening, but Melrose stay falling on the ground. Their lies unraveling, amnesia no longer spellbound. Songs maddening, but the signs have been all around. To the stars we are traveling, blast off. Now here comes that same. My third eye sees all things alive. The questions you ask a lot, dull in your mind, tired of being confined. Let the eye clear out the grind. Meditations with play, teaches of the visions refined. See the designs as we all start to combine our creative molecules with every single enzyme. Not coming back again for a reset and rewind. Putting in the work, then I catch a portal through time. I think it's time that we all call you out. Your actions craft that you profit from. Fallout, you won't fall in love. And your shit show stories overstalled. The child you brand of, and there is no doubt. I think it's time that we cut you out. Your now that keeps us alert to this game. We'll do anyhow as one. That's when we'll reclaim. No, I won't allow your tricks to control this mainframe. And we'll never back from within. That's how we make that change.
So many things are activating this time. You're going round and round till our minds open wide. Enjoy the ride, let the frequencies get you high, like Ayahuasca did when she helped me change my life. Now I see geometry in the trees, and I begin to respect all the things like me. Now breathe in and out with ease, release. Time to fill this world with some peace.
I'll make it sound and we all girl you out. Your actions craft as you profit from all the fallout. You won't fall in love in your shit show stories over startup. The child you brand of man. There is no doubt. I'll think it's time that we cut you out. Your actions craft as you profit from all the fallout. We won't fall in love in your shit show stories over startup. The child is brand of man. There is no
Messiah coming back for any entities that all ancient concept of the restored and ancient is the soul.
When you finally boil it all down, magic is imagination. We are moving into an age of manifestation. Things become actually less material, more ethereal. The golden dawn is when we awaken to this new station of life. What you think becomes real quicker. Regain our imagination, regain our inner child, and let that inner child out.
My name is Frank Castle, founding member of the music group Ice Click and New York City Neo Shaman. After a serious injury sidelined my career in 2013, I decided to set out on an adventure to search for myself with the help of the plant medicine Ayahuasca. What I discovered waiting for me was something I could have never prepared for. It was time for me to become something more, someone more. It was time I became fearless. In the darkness of night, gonna let my light shine as my heart beats a rhythm with space and time. When the light starts to shine inside your third eye, you awake to the knowledge that you never die. I'm becoming fearless. What is up, everyone? It's your main man, your sorcerer supreme, Frank Castle. And it's Monday night, Fearless. What is up? Thank you so much for taking your time and spending it with us tonight. Well, it looks like Lucky said it best. All kinds of energy happening right now. And I happen to agree. That's pretty much what this is about. It's feels good to be back. I am rocking a terrible toothache. I knocked a filling out from like 1978, and
It's the most brutal thing ever. It's been going on for 2 weeks. I couldn't get a dentist appointment anywhere, and I got one right around the block from my house tomorrow morning at 11:30. So if I seem a little out of it, I am. You know, the amazing thing with the 8-8 portal inside the Lion's Gate, this is my fire time. This is the time that we rise. This is the time that creation takes place on another level that maybe we're unaware of. We just think it's a great time to be at the beach, or we love this time of the summer because we could be outside. You know, we're putting shades up on over our tomato plants, and we're doing all kinds of things out by the pool, but you're not really realizing what's actually happening and what's taking place. Portals are opening all around us, and energy is just pouring in. And it is time to break the mold, break the reality, break the matrix. I mean, we've been doing this for years now. It's the same story looping and repeating over and over again, right? Like, what more do you need to know? Like, there's ships in the clouds. Yes. Contact with ETs. Oh, it's coming. It's already happened. But for us and stuff, you know, it's coming. Here it comes. But you have to be prepared in frequency, right? The whole argument between, you know, the Great Awakening versus, you know, the Great Lockdown, because that's, you know, basically what's happening, where the two sides just separate and you can see what it is, and it is pitted one against the other. Okay, well, we're at this point. Okay, now non-involvement within it. We're not going to war. No matter how much you want to push fear, anyone pushing that fear button is just really not on a level where you can have the creator talk with them. Like, oh, we're going to die because you feel like we're going to nuke everybody. And anyone pushing those stories of meteors hitting and asteroids coming and ETs are going to land and eat us and take over and all that, that's all done. We're not in that timeline. Guarantee you that right now. This is an upliftment time while the script plays out. A script. We're inside of a hologram, so it runs on a script. A script is old. It's old as time. Goes back a long time, right? And it's been written by those wanting to keep us in this position. So there's this loop that just keeps coming back around. I want to call it fucking freedom, but I don't know what to call it. Where I'm fucking sick of what I'm seeing, but I'm not at war. You're at the system is at war. I gave up on the war aspect and understood what was actually happening, right? And I win battle after battle after battle after battle after battle after battle. And you're like, well, you're not going to win the oncoming. I'm doing pretty good for myself. I'm doing better than everyone around me. I don't know what you're talking about. I won't let it into my realm anymore. This is part of the upgrade that's occurring to me. It actually hit maybe a week ago. The upgrade is like, now we're not even going to deal with it. Like we're going to deal with it once and for all within our space, and then it's out. So now we're having problems like people coming with any attachment here. It's just not happening. This is where I'm getting at. Like there's like a level where, and I tested this theory yesterday at a massive party with the upgrade I had received last week. I sat here and laid back in the chair and listened to a walkthrough meditation from Brian Scott. And I was doing something on the computer. I think it was a Saturday, and I wanted to go live, and the upgrade occurred, and I couldn't do it. I just was like, I got to take this download. That didn't sound right. However, I laid back, and it was like a DMT trip. It was more like a soft DMT trip, but full visuals, full. Paula sees me in the morning, will like smoke a little bit, have some coffee, and I'll hit it too hard. Boom, I'm in the space because I had just come out of dream time, remembering my dreams all morning now. All morning, I remember what's going on. Not every single day, but most days, definitely. This is why it's been hard for me to talk to people. So the upgrade's coming through, and then it has to play out. Now, we talked about this a long time ago. Shaman Jimmy used to be with us at the time in the Fearless family group. This is how far we're going back. So it's a couple of years. And we said that there would be moments where people would run up to you, right? Like, I haven't been out where I was yesterday with the people I was yesterday for years. Literally, Paula and I were the shortest people there, other than the children who were, and we're talking about children were smaller than us. However, the teens were all bigger than us, right? However, it's a weird thing that was going on. So I reconnected with my dad, and we're really cool with each other now. He has this other thing going on. He's all about love and family. So pretty much he's Vin Diesel from Fast and Furious. He sings, he does all this stuff that I do, but his version of it, he doesn't rap, he sings, he's a singer, and he DJs, he's DJ Bobby James. And this has relevance. So he gives off this giant speech yesterday during his 70th birthday. Now, it was a surprise party. I was standing in the back with my brother, who was complaining about life, just trying to talk about stuff. It's like everyone was like a moth to the flame and just wanted to spill the information. So, new thing I've been doing, right? You guys will see my hand. Little black onyx. So I've been wearing this. It's been sitting right here. Juggernaut's been holding it. I have so many crystals that I just basically, shout outs to Della and Joe. I keep my crystal skull with me wherever I go. And then if I'm taking anything with me, like a backpack, my Ankh comes with me. It's loaded with crystals and everything. And it has my birthstone on it. It's super charged up. My mouth just started watering as soon as I touched the crystals. Excuse me. Ooh, so I had this at the party. So everyone there is like born again or just trying to figure out something. I've reserved trying to talk about it too much because it brings it in. So I'm kind of viewing it from above, because the object of yesterday with the massive toothache, massive, my jaw's swollen. I got Oragel right here. I hate having to use this, but you got to blast it. It's the last tooth in my mouth. Anyway, so I said, source. As soon as I woke up in the morning, I didn't make it this far to crap out on the big day for the old man. We just got back together. I'll be at the dentist on Tuesday. Can we just do something here to just get rid of this pain? If you're not going to heal, and I'm going to talk about healing in a little bit, but if I can't heal this and it has to be just dead up fixed, can we just like deaden it out? Higher self. Do I not do enough? Have I not done plenty? This isn't a bargain. I'm not begging you. I'm asking you to send it me some of this extra stuff that you guys swear we can do. And I've seen it happen. My shoulder, I healed. I had a problem with my shoulder. I couldn't lift it last year, not even a year ago. And I ate mushrooms one night. I told the story. And I watched these things just go and close. Boom. And then I was like, what the fuck am I looking at? I was bugging out, sitting in this chair. And they were like, how's your shoulder? And I'm like, my shoulder. And I said, I can't lift it. I can't. And it was absolutely fine. I was like, oh man, I don't got to go nowhere. I don't got to do nothing. They were like, nope, you did that. All the hard work pays off, kid. So I said, source, can I get some of this energy? Oh, it was like, it took like 2 minutes to load in. really weird when you do something like this. Everyone expects, do it now, do it now. Takes a moment. Make sure you're grounded. Get ready. Here it comes. Go about your day. Send love ahead. All the simple, basic stuff, right? So the tooth pain goes away. Enough for me to just get on up. So I said, okay, I'm going to fill my bubble because we're going to a giant party. There's going to be like 70 people, 80 people there. That's a lot for me to be around. I haven't been around nobody. I haven't been around in a large crowd in a minute, and I'm already ornery because of everything that's going on. Then I take my crystal. I go out in the sun, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to use this as a protection. It's going to like boom, really get the grid inside of my bubble nice and tight. They were like, yeah, that's not the only thing it does. So I'm like, well, what does it do? They're like, all right, anyone in bad intention, it's going to flicker it right back at them. So people sometimes have bad intentions that aren't actually physically bad intentions. Like they're not going to rob from you and steal from you, but they hate on you and you're standing right there. So they'll go, oh, it's so good to see you. You look so good. And in their head, they're like, fuck this motherfucker, right? They're like straight up. They're looking you up and down. Oh, that looks fresh. Oh, that's so nice. Oh, like Paula said yesterday, because everybody there is in their 70s. This lady's like, well, I'll be turning 70. And Paula goes, oh, I just turned 50. It's amazing. She goes, oh, yeah, that's nice. Like, they don't want to hear that shit. You got no kids and you're 50 and you look like this? And the answer was, yeah. That's what's up. Tight body. Okay, so Marcus, if you're having the deja vu, stay in it. Stay in it and follow it out. It's a choice point. It means you're usually on the right track. You'll know what to do next. All right, so that was the deal with myself. Now, because of the pain that I've been having for a week, I've been living with the pain and just eating Tylenol, and sometimes that doesn't work, right? So inside that pain, I stopped being a baby about it. And I was like, there's nothing I can do. I'm not having the tooth pulled. I'm getting this tooth fixed. This one right here, the fucking thing popped off a year ago. So I'm getting all that stuff fixed. I'm like, I'm not trying to, Okay. Boom. Through this, I'm going to, what does it do? Well, it's going to reflect back at them. Well, how much? Like 3 times, 30 times, 100 times. Oh, it's going to reflect at them. So whatever the thought is, here we go, back the other way. Inside the pain, I've been going to the DMT realm, the spirit realm. I've been sitting inside of the pain and activating myself and not letting the pain ruin my night, ruin your night, ruin the house's night, putting out bad vibes. I'm putting good vibes into a shit situation, and I was able to contemplate all of this crazy thoughts. Like it sucked. I mean, my mouth was killing me. However, it was a singular thought. There was pain, and I wouldn't allow it to scream. So it was just going off. But inside, I would just think one thought. I wasn't thinking about the pain. I was considering myself. What comes next? What should I do for the music? Can I write in pain? I even wrote some stuff down. I haven't been able to do nothing. I filmed myself. Obviously, you can see my mouth is swollen. I try to rap. Obviously, you can hear something's wrong. So I'm like, I'm taking all this energy source. And the science experiment is to run it directly through me and send it out. Now, for some weird reason, every time I do this, it just lands right in my palm. It's perfect. This was a necklace that wasn't good for my neck. It was too tight. But this thing snapped off and it's perfect. This won't snap. It's like that army ripcord. So I could wear this like this and it won't break and it won't shatter and you can't get it off me. So whatever. Might not be good if I get my shit stuck in a car door. We'll deal with that when we get to that point. I carry a knife, so it doesn't matter. So I was going pressing it like Spider-Man's web. So I was making jokes with myself that I'm going to go in there, and in the comics and in the movie, sometimes when the villain starts monologuing, hey, yeah, blah, 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 he just shoots you in the mouth. Bloop. And he's like, yep, heard enough of you. I think you've done enough here. Right? So it becomes one of those things. So my father comes in. He doesn't know. It's a giant surprise party. And I haven't seen some of these people in almost 10 years. Right? So Paul is meeting them for the first time. I'm seeing them. There was a lot of bad blood and a lot of weird shit. And I didn't care. I just said, yeah, we're going. Da, 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 da. We're going to have a good time. We baked and rolled all these cookies. Every single one, I was like, I love you. I love you. I love you. Ha ha. Love you. I love you. I love you. Ha ha. I was so focused because I was in pain. But I would say it as a mantra every time I was dipping in the yeah, it was like a lemon white kind of fucking dip. It makes it like a white sheen on there. And it was like a sugar mix. And we did like almost 200 of these things. So I was going, yeah, dip in the cake batter. Every time you taste this, it's going to explode, your gray matter. And Paul is like, it's going to be like the Matrix. You're going to have a little mini orgasm, and you're going to be jealous. You're going to be like, who made these? Where did you buy them? I made them. Especially in a room full of old ladies. There was a lot of people there. So I'm standing in the back, and I start visually seeing the bubble around me because my brother was talking to me, and he was like, bah, rah, 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 and I just looked over at him. And driving there, I had no traffic. It was a straight run. Paula and I did something we never do. We smoked a blunt on the way there. We had to make all these stops and then get there in an hour. And we had like an hour and 15 minutes. And we got there in like 50 minutes. It was almost like everything worked perfectly. And I had no tooth pain. So, and now I'm there and the complaining starts. But it's like innocent stuff. But you can tell the adults have been around the kids for too long, been at work too long, and now they're finally seeing family. And they want to talk to you, but they got 1,000 things to tell you before they can break through and go, oh, bro, I played the fattest video game, or I saw the coolest movie, or look what I can do. I could touch my toes now because I lost all this weight, or I've been working out. Like there's all these weird things going on. And I see my father now. The windows were all, there's giant windows, and they had these flaps that closed. And I seen him coming. I said, Rob, here he comes. And nobody could see nothing. And I saw the energy. I'm connected to this man. I look just like him. My brother looks just like me, and we look like him. It's the funniest thing. At like different parts in his life. Everyone's like, oh, you look just like him. You look just like him. And I was just going, oh, it's so nice to meet everyone. Everyone, it's so nice to meet you. I'll get to the TikTok. So I see him coming. I see his light getting bigger, but he's focused on doing something else. I could 100% tell he has no fucking clue what's going on. So I grabbed my brother, like, around his thing. I'm standing with a few people. My niece Zoe was there. She looked beautiful. She was so much fun. She's already a black belt in karate. He comes in, and I'm like, yo, don't yell surprise. He's 70. He has a gig tomorrow. I don't know this fucking guy's songs. I can't step in. And they scream surprise. And I see, because I'm in the back of the room, and it's me and my brother and his family. And then a line going where my father's going to walk. It was like an energy path lit up. And he was just, when the surprise shocked the shit out of him. He started crying, freaking out. He thought he was going to a gig for someone's anniversary. So now he's like on candid camera crying. Oh my God, it's amazing. The love I feel. Like he was losing his shit in a good way, man. It was really good to see that. And I seen the outline. So my brother's like, should I go over there? There's like 100 people around this guy. So I'm like, nah, just stand right here. He's going to make his way all the way around. He's going to come right up to us in the end, and he's going to see us, and he's going to jump on us and shit. So he's like, yeah, whatever. So me and my brother just start talking because he's busy doing shit. They're bringing music equipment in, and he's, oh my God, I can't believe it. This dude walks the line. It was like a golden path of energy that was above. It wasn't on the floor path. It was like at like waistline. And that's how I saw it. And as he was completing it, behind him was disappearing, the line from behind. So he made it that far. And then I'm like, oh shit, he's following the line. So my brother just keeps talking to me about stuff, the painting business, and 3 years of sanitation left, and I'm out. And Mike works with me back on the truck, and I'm just looking at him, and I'm looking at my dad, and I look at Paula, who's just sitting there smiling. Right. So we're like, we know what's going on. We absolutely see the whole thing. We were talking about stuff all day long, admitting stuff out loud to each other, Paula and I. I don't hide anything from Paula at all. It's so much more fun to be so open and honest with her because she'll go too much. Too much. So he makes his way all the way to me and my brother, and we're talking, and he just is standing next to us like Batman when he disappears and then just shows back up. And then I go, hey, there he is. He has this cowboy hat he wears all the time. He takes it off and fucking jumps on us. Oh my God, I love my sons. Rah, rah, rah. Now, that being said, this was being pressed with the hug like my leg was amputated and I just woke up from surgery and they gave me the little heroin button, ding, 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 ding. And you could only press it once every 20 minutes to get that morphine. I was like, doot, 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 doot. Just got to make sure. And I was staying in that mode while giving love. I was having a great time. But I was 100% aware, 100%. I was freaking myself out. I was like, this is a science experiment. I'm here to have a good time. And I shake with my right hand. So I'm not going to shake you with my left hand. And this is what I got in the left hand. So I'm like power jujuing you. And then if you're talking to me and it's irrelevant and you have something like an attachment or something, you probably just walk away from me or I'll walk away from you. Be like, oh, yeah, whatever. I'm out. I'll see you later. And it's obvious. It becomes an obvious thing. All right. So that happened. So then Paula and I baked all these cookies. We had all this stuff. So they had just asked us, hey, could you bring some cookies, maybe bake some? So they were like, yeah, it's like 7 tables of 10 or 10 tables. Yeah, it was 7 tables of 10. And I'm like, that's fucking Maestro's catering, bro. Like it's a catering event. What the fuck? So we had all this stuff we made with the cookies. We had the Rice Krispie treats with the frosted flakes in them. I had cut them into little bite-sized jammies. So we were making plates in the other room and we were going to put them out on the table, but it was too early. So people now are coming to me. They recognize that it's me. They knew it was me. I'm 100% sure of it because I was sitting off to the side with Paul and we had our people we were talking to and they said, hey man, what's going on? We want to know what's up, man. See you back with your dad. Now, these were people that really hated me at one point for not knowing me, for thinking because someone else disliked me and I must be on drugs. And, their story that they hear is, well, Frank does drugs. He did that drug ayahuasca and now he's a shaman or something. And he does a show. I hear he lives with a girl. Like he grew up to be a federal inspector. He has a double associates. He's a great guy in general. He's on tour. He made a group popular. He's having a great life. He's had ups. He's had that. No, it's he does drugs. This is how family members are. It's fucking weird. Oh, so you did a drug and then he does drugs and then something happened with him and cats. And some Asian girl in the Bronx. I don't know. They live with cats. These are the stories I hear and I look at them and I'm like, wow, so you guys have no clue. So now imagine this was my point about the whole thing. Imagine you guys doing in your family, your things at these little gatherings or whatever, sitting in your living room and there's more than 4 people there. And this is where it gets funny for me. So there's a lady I know really well. I grew up with her. And I noticed that she's there with her husband. And I thought everyone was divorced. I don't really know everyone's stories, but I had heard through the grapevine nobody's together. So I don't think they were. I think everyone was there for my dad, which was really intense, and hanging out as families, as one giant family. There's like this new family with his old family and then his original family. It's really crazy. But they're the fucking nicest people. Some of these people are the nicest people. So this lady says to me, "Where's your girlfriend? I want to meet the girl that's with you." "Who's this girl? You've been with her how long?" I'm like, "Oh, 7 years, whatever." She goes, I listen. There's a short, pretty MILF lady. She comes over. She's very successful. She said, "I'm not leaving you till you introduce me to her." So I'm like, "Yeah, I'll find her. I don't know where the fuck she went or whatever." She goes, "No, I heard what you were doing." This is how she's looking at me, the way I'm looking at I'll look right in the camera. "I heard what you were doing." Yeah, I heard all about it, but I don't know too much about it, but I heard some stuff. I go, "You mean the ayahuasca and the shamaning and stuff?" And she goes, yeah, something like that. I don't know what that stuff is, but something about you helping yourself with something. I go, yeah. She's like, "Oh, okay. I'd like to know more about that, but first I want to meet your girlfriend." So I was like, "Oh, that was pretty forward and stuff." So I go, "Okay." I see her. I see Paula. So I drag her over to Paula. This is when it gets fucking funny. Paula's making a dish, and I'm like, "You don't need to make the dish." And I go, "Paula, this is Irene. Irene, this is Paula." And she turns around and goes, "Hi, it's so nice to meet you," and shakes her hand. And the lady goes, I swear, like, I already thought she was standing up straight, but she went, like, completely stood straight at attention and then looked not at Paula. She like saw Paula, and then when she stood at attention, she was like looking by her at the wall corner. I was standing right next to her off to the side. I watched this whole fucking thing go down, and then I saw what happened. So she's like, "Okay," and then just turns around and walks out of the room. And this was like a side kitchen. So Paula was like, "Well, seems like a nice lady. I guess she's out." So I go, "Where you going? I was fucking talking to you still." She's out. 3 times this happened to Paula with the same lady. Now, there's nothing wrong with this lady. She's cool. We all have things attached to us, inside of us, things we need to purge ourselves from. Some people don't want to purge it. Some people are unaware of it. In her case, she was immediately talking to me about ayahuasca. Not one other person that whole day mentioned ayahuasca to me. Not one. It was very nice. Not one person mentioned music to me, although this kid was like, "Oh, you still do rap, right?" And I'm like, "I do, got a new project." And I shared the info with that one person. So we have attachments, and what I was seeing was her real self was the person, the creator, was speaking to me about, "How you doing?" Like, she came up to me and wanted to know. There was a need to know, and I've known her for a long time. And a lot of us are creator beings. Like I said, there's like an 80%, and we're not NPCs. Inside the 20% is where the NPCs lie. The NPCs are, it's like androids, robots, and ETs pretending. And that category only has like 20% in it. The rest of us are creator beings at different layers, different levels. So she was trying to 3 different times break the conditioning as the creator being. She came right up, like, right, talked to me, was cool for a minute, dragged her in the other room, met Paul, couldn't even stand in the, and just walk away. It was like a movie thing. I was like, "What the fuck is going on here?" But I saw the demon would come forward. I'm going to just call it that for reference. I don't know what the fuck it is. It could be anything, but we're going to say demon. It looked like a demon. It could not handle that and just instantly turned and walked away. Right? Because now with me and Paula in the room, you're standing in between us. It's literally, you're getting in the way of our figure 8. So we're like, "Love, love, love." And she's just like, "Ugh." Yeah. I mean, I don't know what goes on, but obviously see this part. So Paula said, yo, that happened 2 more times. She goes, she was so nice. And then she like touched me and then was like, oh, it's good. And was gone. Certain people there couldn't look at us, specifically look at Paula. And I think that's a cross between your dirty fucking thoughts and you not being a fucking man enough to stand in a room with a bunch of hot girls. I know a lot of people that are like that. They'll be like, I'm like, what are you doing? And just like, they're like, how do you talk to those girls? I'm like, which one? With this one? Come over here. And they'll be, all right, what's going on? I'll be like, you just talk. Hey, how's your day going? What are you doing? Blah, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah. Do you like weed? I like weed. You know what I do? Like, it's my love. It's a very simple thing to do, but it is on the list of the hardest things to do ever, is to like publicly speak, confront like the guy or girl that you like, and or just in general talk. I'm a guy that's always been thrown in that mix, and the shy thing doesn't really work for me. I'm shy when I have to. I shy off. I'm not shy. There's a difference, and it's a big one. Wow, my mouth is swollen. I can see it. Oof. It's in here too. It shoots the pain over my head into my ear. It's so weird. Yeah. So now I'm walking around blasting people with this thing, but I'm sitting with one of the family members, and she says, hey man, what the fuck is that in your arm? So I go, this? I hypnotize you. I was making a joke. But when I talk and I'm just rambling, I'm not always gripping onto this, going like, oh my God, save me. Because I can't, it's not long enough to do that. It has to lay in your hand and you have to grip into it. So specifically, I think it's like that for a reason. So I can't like rub my thumb on it or whatever. So I talk with my hands. Hey, what's going on? Yeah, you know, I was doing this stuff and we were doing this stuff and this is how it was going. And I swear to space Christ, it was working. The whole time I was aware that I was doing it, not on purpose, but because it's already how I am. But my awareness was on purpose. I was like, I'm going to be aware that I'm doing everything today. Whether I open a bathroom door, wash my hands, put a straw in my cup, did I shower, you know, like everything I'm going to categorize. And then in between, I'm going to try to stay like a neutral thought, right? You're always going to get hit with the blast. Everyone's getting hit with it. I'm protecting myself at the highest level. I'm not playing a game. Right, but I'm not doing it out of anger or I'm going to get the demons in the room. None of that shit. That was not even on my mind. However, protection all day. And it's funny, we came home after that and we watched an episode of Sandman, the show on Netflix, and this lady, to protect herself from the Sandman, wore a protection amulet, and she gives it to her kid. It's not really a spoiler alert. However, if you try to do anything, like they were shooting at them in some scenes. So the protection amulet keeps you alive for a long time. And if you try to do ill harm, it immediately backfires right there. So anyone that tried to shoot them, the bullet would bounce off, hit them, bounce off like this invisible bubble, and then they would disintegrate. And or no, they would explode, right? Yeah, they were like pop, and be like, holy shit. I was telling Paula that this is crazy that we're watching this and all day I'm doing this. And I did it to each and every person. And each person got a few minutes of our time. The ones that didn't really have the monster demon in them or whatever. Yeah, this is packed. This has a little tobacco in it. That's why I didn't hand it to you. Paul is right here, by the way. That's who I'm talking to. And those that just stepped forward. All right, there was a lot of stepping forward. This was my original fucking point. That people would come up to us because we were exposing the light on another level. Like we're just giving off that much abundant light that people just will come right up to us, and there'll be those that can handle it and those that cannot. So those that can handle it, sweet people were just showing us pictures of their kids, right? Oh, this is my grandkid. I made this connection with this weird lady. She like bumped into me, and then she turns out being my father's fiance's best friend. And then she's like, oh shit, you look just like your dad. And we start talking, and she shows me her kid getting baptized, right? Grandkid. So she goes, yeah, with the COVID and the lockdowns and everything was weird. I go, yeah, man, I would have thought he would have had to shoot him with a water pistol from across the room. I seen them doing that. I did. I said, you can watch it online. So she looks at me and starts laughing, and she goes, it's funny. Watch this. When they dunk the kid, she fucking cries. She's like, and I go, well, I cried too when they put the demon in me under the water. And then she looked at me and just started laughing. She goes, I think I cried too. So I'm like, I made a connection that the three of us cried on getting baptized. It was the weirdest thing. It's the weirdest connection. And I got the demon joke in there too. And she looked at me and laughed hysterically about it because we were just watching. I said, Grayson. Oh, that was my other thing. I said, my nephew Grayson, when they dipped him, he screamed. Rah! I go, that's because he rushed right into his. That's the entry point. Sorry, guys. I know a lot of people get upset with that one. What do you mean the baptized and then the demon? That's how it gets in. You're allowing it through a contract right into the fucking kid. I got this. You smoke that. Well, I'll roll something in a few minutes. All right, let me just stop for a second and say hello to everyone. I want to just give shout outs to everyone. I'm jumping around a little bit only because my tooth is starting to really swell up. Yeah, no, I didn't want to squirt it on screen and be like,
get off screen
because it's the last tooth. It just looks funny when I do it. It's like I was telling them about the white gooey paste that we put. That was the cake batter, the sheen. She goes, should I add water? I go, you want that Charlie Sheen or what? And she just looked at me. She goes, oh my gosh.
Oh,
for the icing on the cookies.
Well, tell me I bought them. I was like, listen, lady, I made these cookies. I said these cookies were hand rolled and hand dipped.
So this was okay, we didn't get to that part, but so we pushed all this shit yesterday and we went crazy. So and thank you everybody for being here. Yeah, Paula just jumped in and reminded me. So we put the cookies on the table. We plated them and put them out. And everyone was like, oh, where did you get this? Because everyone's like in their 70s and they're like, where'd you get these? And we're like, yo, we rolled each one, dipped each one, have fun. Paula Milo, right? And they couldn't believe it. Some of them were being like, little jelly. Like, oh, did you use my recipe? And it's like, no, I used mine, bitch. Thanks. Next. Right? It's like a South Park episode. You're like, wow, there's real haters even at your age, huh? There was a point where Paula got up and left me there, and I laughed at my father so hard for doing this. They were singing songs from like 1950 and then having a good time, him and his partner. And then they stopped and started playing music so everyone could dance and eat and do whatever. And he puts on the dirty version of Blurred Lines. It was the dirty version. He's like, I want to babe, I want to your face. I was like, what the fuck? This kid's here. And then there was all the what do we call them? Cougars, senior cougars. There was no men dancing. Okay, senior older ladies. They were dancing in their summer dresses. And Paula got up and bounced. And then I said, wow, this is an intense song to be playing No one even knew. The whole place was just dancing. But all the older ladies got up, right? They were right on the other side of the table. And Paul got up and I was like, don't leave me here, because I was the only one sitting at the table. And then everyone was dancing and smiling and dancing. And my father comes on over. He was doing something with these tambourine thing. And he goes, hey. And my brother was sitting there. And I'm like, oh, this is an interesting song you play. He goes, oh, you like that? Did they get up and start dancing? Oh, there they are. I go, no, you can't leave here. Don't leave us here. Don't leave us. My brother gets a kick out of it. Because right away they're like, oh, you're Bobby's son? Oh, hello. With the boobs. Hello. They want to give you the grandma hug hello and then be like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I'm here with my wife. And they're just like, look, I don't give a shit if she don't give a fuck. What's up? Like, so to avoid all of that nonsense, I was telling Paula, my father used to do shows at for lack of the word, it was a Holiday Inn. It was a Holiday Inn on Tuckahoe. So we went a few times. We'd have dinner. I mean, we're talking 120 people having dinner, and then people dancing, and then when dinner's done being served, the place turns into like he DJs and shit. Tables go back, and then everyone starts so there's like a little dance floor, and then it gets to a big dance floor. So he'd be doing that for like seniors. So I'd show up and be like, hey, what's going on? And he'd be like, hey, my son's here. I'm like, no, don't announce me on the DJ booth. Don't ever fucking announce me on the DJ. So then he's like, no, I have to. You're my son. And then he laughs, and I go, okay, you asked for it, and I'll have to make my way back through a crowd of women. That's like, because he's with someone. At the time he was married. And we were making jokes yesterday about how many jelly are there. So then, all the ladies that didn't do anything, they didn't take their shot. He's in love, and they're like, oh God, all of those people reach out. So there was a bunch of them that did this. This is funny to me. This is like American Pie funny. So the ladies apparently would get all the rooms on the bottom floor for the night. So if they were single, older ladies, and I'm talking, they were like, well, I guess they were like 60 at the time, 60 to 70 at the time, going into the whatever, they were older. But they would get all the hotel room. There was about 5 of them. So it was a really nice place. And the other side had the hotel rooms like up. You could like go up in the mountain a little bit. I call it a mountain. It's like this little road that goes up, and then there's like a separate section.
So no one sees you having sex.
No, but that it's like private hotel rooms compared to like what's connected to the bar, and the restaurant itself, right? So then I was like, and my brother, they would throw themselves at us and be like, "Yo, we got the room right here. Just kind of walk off the dance floor into the bedroom right next door," and you're like, no. Right? Me and my buddy Rich, we worked on the International Heist radio show for years together and didn't capitulate to the titties and the crazy, and we just ringleadered the whole thing because it didn't affect us the way it affected everyone else. It was really funny to watch this. So saying no was almost habit forming, but you're like, oh, this is cute. So the last time I was there and he did that, this lady was throwing herself at me and my brother. She was old. And then I'm like, yo, she's grabbing me now and grabbing my ass, grabbing my brother's ass. I'm like, yo, you got to stop. And then her husband walks up and goes, I see you dancing with my wife. And he's like 80. And then I'm like, first of all, you come up correct, motherfucker. No, I'm just kidding. I'm like, yeah. It seems like she had a couple of drinks there, Grandpa. But, and he was obviously manning up on me and then looking at my brother like, I will fight both of you for my wife. And I'm like, yeah, there's no need. We're leaving. We're trying to leave. But they would all propose something or want to touch you. They have to touch. I'm like, what is with old women over a certain age that want to squeeze your peach and definitely touch your hiney and be like, woo! And they'll look right at you, Paula sitting right next to you, and look right at you and be like, ooh, like, you know, grandma says hi. Like what the fuck, man? I think I just have a lot of respect for myself. I watched a lot of people. I didn't drink a lot. I learned early on, you get fucked up, you're going to fall victim. So when you're at the party and you're not drinking, but you're smoking, you can tell everyone who's drunk and what the problems are. And everyone used to come with the drunk fucking problems. And people used to go, I think we just talked about this 2 minutes ago. Like, oh, she's so fine. Look at her. I can't look at her. I can't talk to her. I'm like, whoa, who? This girl right here? Come over here. Right? How you doing? And they're like, how do you just talk to girls like that? I'm like, listen. I'll show you the hottest girl on the planet. I'll show you 25 guys that just are running in the opposite direction of her because they can't take it. Guaranteed she's got a daddy issue. Now, that was just a rapper interpretation of things at the time. However, it played out. Me and Rich used to be so, like, we'd smoke weed, and then that would play out 100 times. It played out so many times we had to stop interviewing any form of actresses and anyone from Playboy TV, pretty much. No, well, and actresses. Well, they did movies and stuff. There was always a fucking problem. So I'm like, it's not worth that the vibration issues of not being able to talk to someone, because you might find the love of your life just making the comment of saying, hi, how are you? I'm gonna prove a point. When I met Paula, I knew she was coming. I didn't know who she was. I had heard about her in the past, but by the time I was in the car, we were going, that's when I found out. I was like, oh, this is your friend that had the picture of the bird. I said, isn't she a witch? You're bringing a witch out with us? Like, I was making jokes. Paula got into the car, and I said, hey, how are you, right? And then I said, hey, happy Easter. It was the night before Easter, but I still said happy Easter. And you said, hey, because I was not going to sit quietly in the backseat in the car with you because I didn't know you.
Oh, I didn't know you either.
We didn't. You just got in, and she looked at me. And so, you know, when you get in a car, you can opt to not look directly at the person you're sitting next to. Like, you give them the stupid look. I just said, hey, it's really nice to meet you. Blah, blah, blah. Happy Easter. We're going to have a good time tonight. And we just started talking. That's it. There was no me trying to squeeze a boobie or be like, I must make out with this woman. There is none of that. There is just the confidence to speak to a fucking human being and be nice. That's it. And that is what pushes it into the next thing. That's what does it. Not, I got to be perfect for this thing. So just say hello correctly. What's correct hello? I don't know. What do you say hello? How do you say hello? Hi.
I'm Paula. Happy Easter. Can we touch your beard?
Yeah, she goes, happy Easter. I want to touch your beard. Can I touch your beard? I was like, you can absolutely touch my beard. It's magic. And then we got to talking about everything. We had more in common than anything. And we all know that story. I'm not going to get into it. But all right. So my point is that you're breaking through all this stuff. Okay. Now, I'm curious, and I'm going to go back to saying hello to everyone. And I love everyone. Yo, I'm telling you, take 3 Tylenol and squirt some of the shit in your mouth. It's like you're like, It's good to see everyone. Yeah, thank the Oragel for mouth supremacy. I never thought it wasn't that strong growing up.
This is the 3 times straight. Your mother told me specifically.
You gotta get him to 4 times strength. He's not going to squirt cream into his fucking mouth. All right. So, what has been going on with you? No, Nick Bravo. A lot of guys don't have game. Here's the thing: you don't have to have game.
You just have to say hello.
You just have to say
Hello.
it all starts with a hi. You don't got to buy a fucking drink. You don't got to be in the right place at the right time. I mean, you're always in the right place where you're supposed to be because that's where you're supposed to be. But when you get a moment I'd be in a store somewhere. It doesn't matter what nationality the person is or what culture they're from. I'll be like, hey, how's it going? How are you? Even the Nina Nona. There's a he's 12. He's fucking 12. He runs this giant discount store. He's behind the counter and he tells me, he sees me and I'm like, yo, what up, man? How you doing? Congratulations on this shop, whatever. He's like, yo, bro, I got you. What's up? Right? And I'm like, I love this fucking kid. And then he was telling me when we were there's a whole bunch of people. And then he was like, yeah, you hurry up and do what you got to do over here. And then he goes, these fucking people, man, I've been waiting for them all day and everything. It's great to see you. I'm like, it's always great to see you too. This is what I mean. When I go into the other store, I'm here for a reason. If you knew every time you were going to buy peanut M&Ms at the corner discount store, then we're going to talk about energy again. You're intent on picking that up and putting it on the counter from the place that's already stressed out and has 100 people online and people telling them to fuck off all day. If you go in there and you're like, man, yo, what's up? Yeah, those peanut M&Ms are you're gonna eat them and it's gonna do absolutely nothing but bad stuff for you. It's gonna all the bad effects. It's not gonna taste right. It's not gonna be good. It's not gonna be. When you're cordial, you just walk in. Hey, how's it going? It's good to see you guys. Yeah, I'm gonna get this some M&Ms. It's good to see your face. Thanks so much, bro. Have a nice day. That's all it takes. That's the level jumps. Okay, now I'm gonna go back to. I haven't had 6 Tylenol in my body in years, so this just feels weird to me. Have you witnessed your own? Because this is a portal opening. This is creator energy. This is abundance energy. It's like pure source. It's like the light of everything type shit. So it just enhances everything. It's not just given to you. You have to do your work. And okay. So have you been noticing it? What's been happening to you? Right? Like because this conversation will always be about me. And then you'll get cats eventually, and it's dad and mom and whatever. I know you want to hear about the DMT realm. Look, when I upgraded, I was in my body and I saw the tears. I had tears apparently in my stomach and higher than one part, but lower than my belly button. Tears where there could be hernias like happening in my older age and not working out and getting a little bit of a belly now. I'm like, what the fuck? I can't get rid of my belly. And then, oh, what is that? And what is that? During the upgrade, all I saw was it looked like a creamsicle colored. So it was orange, everything with white splotches moving like a moving painting. And then I'm like, I couldn't tell if the orange had to go or the splotches had to go. And they were spinning and turning. And I was going, what is this? And they were like, oh, look at this. And one of the white splotches kind of shrunk and then went whoop. And everything was orange there. And then another one flew in its place and all this crazy shit. And I can feel my stomach, each block where it's supposed to be under my fat chubby, right? That I would have fucking 8 of them coming up from my waistline under those layers. One spot, light up. And then all those white things would shrink and just close. And it was happening everywhere. And I'm like, wait, what's happening to me? And they're like, you're evolving. So I'm like, what? And they're like, your hernia is gone. I'm like, I have a hernia? And they're like, not anymore. You would have, like, very soon. You would have lifted something and that's it. It's over. So I'm like, what do you mean it's gone? Ooh, I feel that. One at a time. And it went all the way up into my chest, into my heart. It was just like being on mushrooms when they're like, take a deep breath let it all out. And then everything comes back on, full activation. Your heart's beat. All of a sudden, it's in rhythm, and you were like, I was out of rhythm? It's weird. Things started feeling really good, and my knees didn't hurt at all. And they were like, okay, a couple things. Don't be surprised if your taste change a little bit. And don't be surprised. Oh, I'm sorry. Don't be surprised if you get abs. I was like, get abs? Dude, I'm like 215 right now, chubby, just starting to move around with some weights and stuff. Not heavy weight, it's just stretching and some biceps and shoulders, all hanging stuff. They were like, no, you asked Toth why the human body, why the human form when you were with him, and he said it's the optimum form. And I asked him, I said, do you work out? Like, I slapped him on his ass and try to like look under his tunic jokingly. I said, what are you packing there? Like 5-6 feet? I was making a joke, and he just looked at me. It was weird because he was a bird. Ibis head. I don't know how to say it. He looked me right in the face and he said, the bird head is because it's the way they think, having that part of that animal at the highest level. It's like an expansion of your consciousness. However, for what I need to do, he was specifically doing stuff. So he's like, I choose this form, and the human form is optimum. I'm like, dude, you look like Hercules. Like, that's what Hercules would look like to me. He'd be 12 feet tall because he's Anunnaki, so he's not going to be short. He could throw reptilians around. He could choke out lions and tigers, the big ones too. He could wrestle a dinosaur and shit. You obviously can do that too. And he's like, yep. He goes, Hercules is Anunnaki. They're just having babies, and the giants were at point mixing with you guys and then having giant children. And those children were from the stories of old. And then some of them were corrupted over time, and that's where things got out of hand and got bad. So there was a time where it was good and a time where it was bad, just like everything else. And thank you for that. Okay, so back to you guys. Hold on, that's not it. It jumped on me. Kendra Blake, a lot of vivid dreams and heavy energy releases. Yeah, that's awesome. Have you been remembering your dreams? Do you feel the energy, the grime and the goop leaving you, and then being enchanted with this energized feeling of, we can do this? Like the new push after being tired for so long. Have you been sleeping more? Have you been sleeping less? I've been sleeping normal. I never sleep normal. I always have a problem, and I'm sleeping normal for now. I know the cycle comes back. It's energetic. I know the full moon is on the 11th. We got a lot happening for Leos this month. The energies are high. I have not heard of Ismail Perez. I think I had somebody say that name the other day, but I still don't know who he is. Yeah, I had to, Megan. I had to check. I'm only up. I'm 5'8". I was like up to his waistline. He was looking over at me, and all he was wearing was like the tunic piece, and he had the bird head, and he was holding this stuff. We were at a control panel in a spaceship, and we were talking about the floor, the designs in the floor. That's how it originally started. And he was like, well, that's your design, and that's where you stand. And I stand on this one. And I was like, oh, do you work out? He's like, no, not even a little. You don't swim, you don't squat, nothing. Sit-ups, push-ups. Nope. Damn, I need to do that. He's like, it's in your genes. You guys will get there. And I'm like, ooh, can't wait. I want in on that. So now this experience I had did that for me. It started that experience. I've already lost, like, I had to have lost 10 pounds, and I've been putting on muscle. My body's getting hard bodied. Like when you grab me, I feel like I do when I was a younger man. Like in my early 30s, I was fucking brolic and jacked. I was like, whoa. I feel like my shoulders were much wider, and then there was muscles. And I'm like, I kind of miss having that, but I think I just want to stretch right now. But they say that the ultimate human form looks like those beings, the Anunnaki, and we have that in us. Sekhmet's awesome, by the way. Love working with Sekhmet. I find myself in my dreams doing learning things, like it's being downloaded into me, or I'm in that reality, and it's like I'm always missing something. Like I'm working on something and it's off, and then I figure out what's on, and then I'm like, oh, that's how you do that. And then boom, I wake up the next day and I need to create something. I built another table the other day. It's gigantic outside for all the plants and everything. And all I did, I can't rap right now. I can't talk. I don't really want to be on camera. I'm kind of ornery, like I said, and I want to fucking So I'm just trying to stay calm and do my stuff. But I sat up and I was like, I don't want to sit here again today. Like it's 2 to 3 days in a row. All right, I'm in pain and went shut up. I want to create something. I looked around. I had fucking wood. I had something Paula had asked me to do. Oh, I'd like to do this. We could take that apart and do this. I just took everything out, slapped it down, zip, and started the process. Excuse me. It took me about 5 hours. Last time it took me like 10 hours. So I'm working on it. You know, so you can learn. Happy early birthday. You got to just keep pushing through. Listen, Bitcoin, I'm going to say it again, Ethereum, silver. And when we're in this shit, we didn't even get to the shit hits the fan stuff. We're already in it. It's a wrap soon. It's either going to play itself out for the good side or play itself out for the bad side. It's the way you anchor in the good stuff is by going out and not sitting there and going, good stuff, anchor into my reality. That's just one part of it. It's like a 10th of what you got to do. Now you have to go out, love yourself, love the life you live, or build towards that. So, and then enjoy each step of the process, even the painful parts. Like, this sucks, but I still love you guys. I still want to talk to everyone. So, I'm going to make sure that I'm ready to go on the flip, because I don't want to work in something where I have to say the realization of being stuck in a 3D job is heavier now than ever. Like, I can't do that. I can't mentally say that. I was telling Paul, all of my dreams forward into the future, slight future where we got stuff growing and doing and on that other level. None of it feels like work, but I'm absolutely have no time to, because I'm so busy doing all the things I love to do and that I want to do. So it never feels like work, but it's fucking a lot of stuff. So we got to get into those positions where we want to be there. And it's like, well, how do we do that? It's like, well, if it's money inside the system, like say, because you can't leave a job for whatever reason, then you should be setting up for your future. By doing something that's not just reserving it for when you're 65. It's for when this thing flips, I'm out. I'm going to start doing the things I want to do. Right? Everyone in the crypto world tells people one thing, then they tell them another, and that if you traded and then you did it, and then and then the IRS, who boogie boogie. It's a fucking script we're watching play out. If you know the ending of the story, why are you so lost in the script? That's so you rise out of it and just go, okay, the script's almost played out. What happens? You know, on the other end, it's success for all of us on this way. If you truly believe that, then you'll invest in that. You'll invest knowing that. And that's what we did early on with the show. Years ago, we bought into, Bitcoin, Ethereum, even some Litecoin, and we just held on to it. Everyone's like, well, if I traded it, I would have had $1 million. Yeah, me too. I'm going to have a bazillion whatevers. It's already safe and secure and done. I've been told 100,000 times over, if you ever do another thing, you're good. This thing's going to flip. You got a gobbledygoo. It took me years to do that. When you start reacting with the program the way you're supposed to, you jump in and jump out of the book and come to life. Right? It's the the comic book, and then the splash page, the last page, is the new person, whoever decides to do the work and become who they're meant to be, right? So now it's about you. Oh, look at this shit. And then next it's the dynamic duo, Frank and Lexi, Oracle Eyes presents, and then it's like whoever's involved jumps out of the page from the book to life. It's a beautiful experience. It's a different thing. I can't think about going to work and ever working in a job where I'm lifting and bending and stretching and moving and sweating and you better get there and fuck out of here. Now, I know a lot of you, we're all in different positions in life. I may not work like that, but I don't have it oh, he's awesome. I'm in the 1-bedroom apartment, 800 off squared feet where nothing technically fits correctly, and you have to buy specific to the house because this place, they never built the wall out all the way, or they use newspaper in the walls and it's totally flammable and sucks. They use mud and clay and brick and concrete. I can't wait to get the fuck out of here. But instead of just saying that like a baby every day, I put something towards, I drew an ankh. I have my ankh, right? I outlined it, and then I drew inside of this. I drew me and Paula and cats and whoever in stick figures, and then wrote some stuff in there, showed the house and the this and the that, and then superpowers, love, evolution, right? Freedom, love, more love, yeah, abundance. Everything's abundance. Everyone's abundant. I put in all these little statements everywhere, and it's a thing hanging on my refrigerator. It's loaded. I see that shit every day, and I remember where I'm headed. You can fall short and look at it and go, yeah, I'll never get there. Or you could realize, you okay? If you, if you put the quarter away, eventually you'll have $1 over time. I know that doesn't sound that great because you're like, wow, but it's spiritual equity, and it's equity in you, and it's belief in you. Are you worth it? I believe I'm worth it, right? So I bought a mic where I feel I'm worth it. I'm not worth the $100 mic no more. That's it. I have nothing against it. You go through stages, right? And when you're in Dungeons and Dragons, you start out in sandals and a robe, and you're a magician. You don't even have a magic wand or a hat to pull a rabbit out of. You have to build up to that shit. And then eventually you're throwing fireballs at Mangog inside tunnels that are on fire with lava monsters while you're saving hobbits that are on the journey with the ring. You have to build to that shit. This is a building foundation. You don't want to build a house of cards that just collapses. You want to build an unshakable, unbreakable structure. Now, that's just something I picked on, Lexi. I hope you don't mind. I just, I just used your statement. Yeah, like right now more than ever. Yeah, the FBI raided Trump's house in Largo. All right, look. You shouldn't be surprised, right? Like, I'll lay a few out for you. Will Smith smacks Chris Rock. Everyone, I'm not saying that you did, but a lot of people, and I believe it's the AI doing it. I don't even believe it's people, but people jump on that bandwagon. Oh my God, did you see that? Oh, he slapped the shit out of him. 2 days later, they were showing the movie that they copied. There's like a clip of a movie from years ago, and it's the exact same thing that they did there. Early 80s. Paula watched it with me. We were like, what the fuck? So it's fake. It's staged. Yeah, you're going to pay at the prices, but at the pump. But you have to understand the script has to play out. And it's playing out this way because the mass collective consciousness isn't hitting that number, that percentage. So it's people aren't waking up. They are in other places. You're watching people in Argentina go nuts and other place, Portugal. There's something going on over there. There's all kinds of craziness happening. The Dutch farmers, they don't want us to know any of this stuff, right? They're just blasting it in. So you obviously see it scripted. But yet, mom will still come here and be like, bro, COVID shots, now monkeypox. You know, the gays have sex and then monkeypox. I'm like, that's not how it happens. We're back to that old AIDS thing where they fucked a monkey and now we have AIDS. That's not true. It's not. It's a fucking bioweapon. You know, the bioweapons released during Pride Month. You have an entire month, and this is, I'm not snapping on anything, but you look at statistics, and now monkeypox galore. And it's like, well, you released it into that crowd during that time. What did you expect? You know, there was lines here in Manhattan that were, I went to a Prince show once, and the fucking lines were so long that I almost just, I just wanted to cancel out even being there. I wound up getting in, but the line was insane. The lines were bigger here for monkeypox shots. There was not one lady online. They're designing weapons to be used against you. We've said this in many media types have said this over time. Alex Jones, he's getting sued and they're setting a precedent, and you're like, well, this whole thing's a script. I see people saying all different kinds of things about Alex Jones and how the whole thing's scripted. Okay, cool, it's scripted. Guess what they just set the precedent with? That they can do that to you. That's what they're coming after dudes like me by doing that with Alex Jones. You realize that, right? So yeah, fuck Alex Jones. No, fuck you. He didn't say shit. You guys got to fucking back it up a minute, right? You got to start calling out bullshit where it's, well, $45 million, $14 million to people that were laughing on TV. They were laughing on TV when their kids were supposedly dead and shot. I don't know if he called out specific family members or whatever, but I obviously saw the same footage everybody else did. There's a whole bunch of us that are like, yeah, obviously the whole school disappeared and blah, 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 blah. I knew someone that worked there that wasn't there, and then they lived in the next town over. They were like, the school's demolished. And I used to go up there for dinner. And at the time, my ex was like, don't fucking say nothing. Don't say nothing about Sandy Hook. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to say nothing. Holy shit. We get there. She's like, oh, the whole place is demolished. It's right over here and blah, blah. Oh, well, why would they take it down? Well, it's for the families. Really? It's for the families? So they just bulldoze the whole place? Interesting. Wait, where else did they do that? Did that a few other places too, right? And they burned David Koresh, a bunch of children, pull up on a tank and just start launching fireballs, lock them in. Where else have we heard this? Just go through the list. The script is to set precedents for you and for me, not for Alex Jones. If he's part of the scripted players, right, and we're not part of that club because it's a big club and you ain't in it, then what does that mean? It means they can do it to you. They could do it to all your favorite guys and girls. They could pick on people, pick them out, and sue them for saying things. They could find, the AI will go back and find things for keywords, anything ever mentioned, and then they'll go, well, we're going to sue you for that because that's not true. It's be like, your definition of truth and mine are two different things, robot, right? And then you got to be dealt with this political hierarchy of nonsense. Hi, my name's Kamala Harris, and I'm actually the vice president sitting in a blue suit at the end of the table. What? Are you guys fucking retarded? That's what they were doing. I'm a they, them, and a dick. Shut the fuck up. We're here for business. This isn't business. Once again, you're mixing stupidity with business, with things that should go on. I got to sit here and listen to this shit? What are you, fucking nuts? You know what this is doing to kids? My pronouns. And woo. No idea. All right. So to beat this, you become the light. You get happy. You do things that make you happy. You enjoy life. You laugh at them. You don't capitulate in any way to them. You always say no to them. No, that's not going to happen. No, if you have to vote on it, you go vote. You go press a button, boom, get rid of them. Well, voting doesn't work. Okay. It's going to be revealed that the voting obviously doesn't work. But at some point, they're going to blockchain the voting system and it's going to work. You're going to be able to do it from your living room. All right. You're just going to be blip. That's it. They're not going to be able to. How many times did you ever go to a place to vote for someone and their name wasn't on the fucking ballot? Anyone? And you're like, how is their name not on the fucking ballot? Oh, it's just got to be this person or this person. Okay, so everyone votes for this person. Well, the person up here, well, we're not voting for them, so we brought the other person in. Well, obviously, there's a problem here. Obviously, when Joe Biden was screaming, "I don't work for you" at the car, the guys that build cars and shit, you should have seen the problem coming even bigger. You don't work for me. You literally work for me. You work for everyone here. Like, you're like supposed to be the living embodiment of Uncle Sam, but you look and act like a fucking turd. That dude has shit his pants more on TV in the last year and a half than anyone I know that shit their pants on live TV has ever been on live TV and done. We're dealing with the screw show, so just let it go. Right? You have to now recognize, we got to stop worrying about AIs and this, that. You have to be aware of this. No more worry. There's no fight and battle. You have to worry. You can't worry about me. I got to do my own shit. Yeah, we can work together, but like people that don't lock the AI out, you have a problem. How do you lock it out? I don't know. I did it with a sigil. I explained it on many shows, right? You can do your version of whatever that is. A couple people actually hit me and asked me about the AI recently. Shout out to Fearless Island, Fearless Family Island. And I gave him the whole story. I gave somebody else the story too. So you read the story, you can use the sigil. It's the family sigil. I just created it and to save my life. And it happened to be what we can use. So if you're in our frequency and vibration, you can use it. But I'll be telling you, you put the sigil on and you put all your intention into it and you go out and you have 6 beers and start sniffing cocaine. It's not going to work. You're like doing anti-magic to the magic you're using. It's just not going to help you. Right? So you have to do like your high vibe things. Like I have it on my phone. I got a lot of shit on my phone. Right? And I want to put another fucking picture on my phone. Hold on. Right? But I don't. Do I have a problem with it? No. I locked that shit out of me and I sent it away. You still fighting with it? There's something you should question within yourself. You still believe that the devil is trapping you and doing something to you? Then you got to handle your business. Do you still feel you're in a shitty situation? Well, then you got to head in a different direction. Are you still waiting for the person next to you to change? My grandfather would show up and go, you could wish in one hand and you could shit in the other. And you tell me what happens first. I'm like, that's disgusting. You're a fucking weirdo. And he'd be like, what happened first, though? You could wait around. My aunt never changed. Everyone said, oh, she'll grow out of being a fucking jerk. And then she started swinging on people. This is back in the day. Swinging. And then when people decided to swing back on her because they had enough of her shit, then her husband started swinging on people. Now, if we just would have beat the fucking piss out of her from day one, she would have stopped because every other person around stopped. But that's not how this works. Everyone was like, oh, she'll come around. She's not going to be a dick like that. And it just grew into this cancer. You don't argue with cancer. You cut cancer out. What are you arguing with people in a lesser frequency of you? You're going to be at a point where you're going to show up and they're going to, the stories I tell to you are going to happen. Your versions of your story are going to happen. Maybe you're in church when it happens. Maybe you're at the pool, a parking lot, out at the restaurant. You ordered Applebee's. I don't know. You fucking have your own version of it, but it's going to occur. And then you're going to go, whoa, check this shit out. That's your position. That's your job. It's not to argue with muggles in between. And I don't, there's nothing wrong with being a muggle at this point, but I'm not that. So I can't be part of that. I don't shun on it. I was that a few years back. So, you know, I was telling my nephew, he said to me, oh, the NPCs in this game were in GTA. The guy put it on really hard and it was crazy. So I said, oh, did you see Free Guy? And he goes, oh yeah, I love that movie, NPCs. So I said, obviously you must know what an NPC is. And he goes, yeah, it's a fake character, the AI controls. And I go, you know they're real, right? And he goes, yeah, they're in the game. I go, you know, now I can't say to a 12-year-old, I think he's 12. I can't say to him because we're in a hologram. I don't need him to panic. But I said they're real, and that's why they make movies about them, and that's why they're in video games, as above, so below. So they exist out here, so we created them in there because we're in a hole. And he went, what? And I go, no, it's all right. It's all right. You just got to know. You'll see them. And he was like, why do you sound like grandma? I go, well, grandma's my mother, stupid. So, oh, the UFOs are real. I go, they are real. And he was like, yo. So that's crazy. A lot of these new movies have been terrible. A lot of the entertainment that's putting out is absolutely just showing you the idiocracy of what we're already in it, but now it's headed back the other way. We're starting to, the pushback against it is coming. Nobody wants to be part of the woke agenda. Even Warner Brothers went and they fired everyone. They said, oh, you're part of the woke agenda. They took all the CW shows and canceled everything. They said, yeah, that's not part. They put out a statement. We're not part of the woke agenda anymore. We're literally going to reboot some stuff and we're going to superheroes are back. You don't have to worry about the guy being a total dummy and only the lesbian girl that understands how to rule the kingdom. Like, they're gonna just measure that out a little bit. There's nothing wrong with having diversity at all, because literally the Avengers is ultimate diversity, X-Men ultimate diversity. But when they push that agenda on you, if you just watch Thor, the new Thor movie is terrible. It's fucking terrible. It's like one giant dummy joke in the middle of children in cages, and it just drove me fucking nuts watching it. Yeah, I have a problem with that stuff. And you know what? I don't want to pay anymore to see that shit. I don't want to pay to see stupid stuff. I don't want to waste my money with companies that tell me what I should like. Like, they're dictating to me the direction, and I'm like, no, that's not how this fucking works. There's like a call, like with the action figure line with G.I. Joe guys, right? Everybody wants a 6-inch action figure of G.I. Joe from when they were kids. So they started putting out new versions, updated versions of the characters that nobody's ever really seen before in the 6-inch versions of the character. And dudes that are like 40 years old are like myself, are like, no. What is this? I don't even know who this character. This doesn't look like anyone I grew up with from the 80s. So they're like, oh, the cartoon and the comic book. And it's like, well, that's what it's fucking based after, the comic book and the cartoon. What are you basing it after? Well, the new sci-fi role. No, we don't care. So nobody bought any. They stopped fucking with some of that stuff. And they were like, nah. And the next round was all the classic figures started coming out. And people were like, yeah. And they'll deal with the bullshit to get the classic figure because it's what they want. That should push the market, not you telling me. And then Taika Waititi, whatever his name is, goes on TV in an interview, and they're on a red carpet, and I'm like, these motherfuckers don't belong on any red carpet. They should not be celebrated in any way, shape, or form. Where people are like, oh, and then they said, yo, it's bad reviews, all kinds of weird shit. And he goes, yeah, I'm out there trying to make the worst movie I could make. Okay, well, you're fired. It's not a joke. Get your stuff, get the fuck out of here. That's how I would handle this. It's a very simple, but they're telling you because they think they're above you. This is where the problem lies. They're celebrated for what? What did you do for me lately? What did you do for me? I watched a fucking movie that sucked. I can't get that time back. What did you do for me? You created one movie that people like, maybe two, and all your other ones were bum ass shit. You're going to talk shit to us, the public? Like it's the public's fault we don't like your stuff, or we're racist because we're not into it. I'm sorry. When you have Batman, I don't want to see Batgirl and Batman take a nosedive and get killed off, and then her and Supergirl take off. That's a cool story, bro. Needs more fucking dragons. How about you just give us Superman and Batman, and then give us Supergirl and Batgirl? Like, it's not that big of a deal. Everyone exists together and does it together. What's the problem here? Why are you shoving this shit down our throat? Do you know how many little girls dress like Harley Quinn? Harley Quinn is the Joker's girlfriend. She's a fucking dirty comic whore that no girl should want to be like. If you read the fucking first of all, she was from the cartoon, not the comic. And then they write her and you're like, why does any little girl want to be like this? If my daughter ever acted like that, there'd be hell to pay. That's not what you don't promote this shit. This is why they're pushing the Joker on people. They want you to feel bad for the clown. No, you don't feel bad for the clown. The clown's there to make you laugh. Take the fucking makeup off, clown. They're using weird reversages on us. They want everyone to be the anti-hero, and then the villain actually has redemption arcs constantly. And it's like, no. You're really just trying to get to side with your magic. So the more dumb things that we agree to, more things we buy tickets to, more times we go to those concerts where it's like hell was opening up around and the portal opened on stage and you bought the ticket, dummy, you bought the ticket. Like there's no more like what can we do? What can anybody in my position and higher do for anyone else right now? Baz is here, the big trans push. Fine, okay. Hey, Baz. Baz is my oldest friend. I love that guy. All right. So the trans push is the agenda. Now, here's a weird thing, everyone. I met Lucifer on my first DMT trip, and I talked about it. Not only is he not like what they call in Luciferian, like they sacrifice things and do all this stuff, and they say, oh, it's Luciferian. And then you look at Lucifer and you say, well, what's that? And he's like, they're doing that. I have nothing to do with that. And then you go and you're in our holographic matrix reality, and there are mimics the AI have in there, and there's demons and there's all kinds of shit, and they're all eating that energy, and it has nothing to do with the actual archetype. I don't want to be the one walking around defending Lucifer, though, because it was just a conversation. I just looked at him. I said, I thought he was the devil. I was ready to fight. I was like, oh, you're the devil? You want to fight? What's up? Right? So now, supposedly, the Luciferian thing is the boobs and having both bottom parts, guy and girl. It's like the goat head with the boobs. And it's like a all-in-one kind of thing going on with bestiality, all of it. Yet you look at Lucifer, he looks like a wrestler. He looks like Hercules or something, Poseidon. So you're like, what is that? Okay, now let's back out of that for a second, that thought. So what does this sound like? It sounds like Baphomet, Moloch, and those characters. And they'll call it a Luciferian agenda, but that makes no sense. It's like upside down talk again. Because you meet the being and then you have a rational conversation and you're like, how are you sitting in source? I thought you weren't even allowed here. Who told you that? Everyone told me. Everyone told me you were the fucking devil. There is no devil. What's wrong with you? I'm the king of the seas, homie. I know Baphomet isn't Lucifer. I'm saying Baphomet has the all-in-one. I know you're a fan of the Baph, but Baph is nothing to be a fan of, Nick. I don't know how many ways to put that. Baphomet is not an archetype to be proud of. It's something to be aware of and noticed by and moved on with, because the trans agenda comes from that. They're trying to feminize males and make women masculine, but you're really getting super Karens and people that just, it's like everyone with blue hair dye, you gotta just know not to talk to. This person is just going to be a fucking screwball. There's all personality disorders within this stuff. Everyone that has the trans surgery, the full surgery, it has like a 90% suicide rate. So you got a bunch of guys dressing up as women and then going, I'm a girl. It's like, who'd you have sex with just there? A girl. Did you use your penis? Yeah, but I identify as woman because I do it in a dress. It's like, dude, I don't have to suffer by that stupid statement and all that other ridiculousness. So that agenda comes from Boff. I got to stop calling them. And you keep writing it in caps because you want them to show up, Nick. It's not a proud move. It's not a good spot to be in at this level. It explains many, many, many things. I know you're like, it represents balance. I know. It also represents tomfoolery and trickery at the highest degree. At the highest. It's literally stealing your energy. It's never balance on your side. You want balance. There's fucking Toth. There's your balance. I'm just saying, it's a weird thing to do, like the boff. I don't care what you do, and then Sekhmet thing. It kind of makes sense. She probably helps keep him at bay and shit. To me, that's just a laughing jester in 4D that steals energy. I get the archetype though, and that they're what. This isn't about you. This is about them. The transgender trans thing is all about that coming onto the board to confuse everyone. It's the great upside down. They're tricking you, and then you're like, no, but I feel that way in my heart. And then you look, and it's like a dude that has no testosterone, flabby little boobies, giant beard, doesn't know how to change a fucking tire, and cries like a fucking baby about everything. And then you get 400-pound Karens that want to tell you what you can and can't do all over the place for everything. And then when you actually talk to them, they have no knowledge of anything. They don't know, and they don't understand. It's a trick and a trap. Now, does that mean you can't dress up as a girl and go have a fucking good time? No. It's when you trying to do that shit at school. And I watched a video of them throwing money at these little kids in a fucking transvestite circle with all the parents. All of you should be in jail. Every single one of you that put your kid through that. You know, it was a weird thing back in the 70s and then in my mother's generation when she was young, because they perpetuated this shit. They would have like girls in girl babies in pink and boys in blue, right? But everyone would trade clothes off as a baby, right? So the pink and the blue thing kind of was just a thing in the background, and then all the babies on the beach would have these little bonnet things on with these stripes, and they're all worn away, either blue or pink, but no one knew what the fuck anyone was across the board. And we had these really weird things growing up where, see, now I'm thinking about that, and I'm like, that's pretty weird. But all the babies just were babies and were allowed to do whatever you want. So I had the pink on, the pink stripes that were worn and faded, but it didn't change any outcome. I didn't have any pressures. Nobody told me like, you have to be like this or whatever. I just grew up and lived my fucking life. Didn't pressure or push it on no one. Okay. And a lot of people want to pressure and push everything onto you, right? LBGBQ, XYZ, WX 12, 14, 18, 36. That thing got huge all of a sudden. There's like 5 more letters to it. I got to capitulate to this before I could have a conversation with you, but you're also a dummy. Reading a book doesn't make anyone smart. I'm sorry. It doesn't. I haven't read many books. I'm way fucking smarter than most people. And it's really, and there's really smart people that like, you're a dummy. I'm like, I'm great across the board. What do you want to do about it? I could hold my own with the poorest of the poor and the richest of the rich. I could find my place in it. You can't. So we all work together. There's room for everyone. But the agendas are terrifying. Okay, so they inject you. They chemically castrate us. Boys don't know if they're boys. Girls don't know if they're girls. By the way, the girl in Russia, there's pictures of her topless. Ladies, speak to me that are with ladies. I understand the environment. That's a dude. She has breast muscle like me. Like my boy Isaiah looks just like her. And he's a little MMA fighter. Like his body type, not his face at all. He's a good-looking dude. But he has that lean swimmer's build. She has the Conor McGregor looking tattoo across her chest with the wings. Straight just like she's got an Adam's apple too, so I don't know what that's all about. Like, I don't trust anyone at this point. I don't trust the story, so I'm not playing in the story because then it just sounds like Frank's being maybe racist or something. I'm not. I don't want anyone to be in jail for weed. I wish she wasn't over there. And then they're like, well, you got to blame America because they don't make enough money in the WNBA. People don't like watching women's fucking basketball. That's it. There's a small percentage of it. Well, they have to go play in Russia. If I had to play in Russia, I would know not to take weed with me. So they were probably not checking her. And the minute we went and had a little war issue with them, they probably checked her. They were like, fuck these Americans. That's how they do it. And now we got one of yours. Ha. So instead of Frank getting lost with the Fearless family, saying things like, oh, you know, well, she, this, that, and the other thing, and she doesn't give a fuck about me. She'd be sleeping fine on her $100,000 a year fucking whatever, and I'm on my $25,000 a year, whatever, giving her judgment. I'm not here to make you judgment. I don't think anybody should be in jail for weed. I wish our American players weren't over there. Didn't go all socialist and go, well, fuck the American everything. Meanwhile, you're living on that American dream and then have to go to Russia and you get arrested because you get caught in the political underground and all the weird shit. You shouldn't be smoking weed in fucking Russia. What do you want me to tell you? Right. So if I get caught in that, I don't have time to tell you, man, if you just keep an eye on your fucking garden and get out in the sun, when the 8-8 portal opens up and the energy comes in, make sure you're grounded, take 3 deep breaths, set your intentions and set things off right. It's kind of a plain and simple, yo, my mouth's getting crooked now. I just felt like this thing. I hope I don't have to lose my tooth. It just like radiated and went around my head and then across my lip. I saw it on camera. Ouch. Yeah, so same thing here, right? Like with the Kyle Rittenhouse thing, like they'll bring him out and around and they'll have like Candace Owens talking with him and then this other guy talking with him, and I'm like, listen, turn that shit off. Turn it off. The Alex Jones thing, making a big deal. Every one of you should be taking Alex's back. Doesn't matter. I've said some shitty things in this world too that you would probably not like me 10 years ago, 20 years ago for. Oh, he was on stage and he was like, bro, check me out. You want to get with me? You got to smoke a blunt. And then they're like, he's a fucking dick. Right. And then you meet me now and you're like, oh, Frank's the greatest. It's like, oh no, he's the guy from the stage. Like I changed. Things happen. Things are said in jest. We try to have fun sometimes. It doesn't always play out correctly. Give people a break. If what you do all day is called a dirty shit out on every fucking thing that you see and that you get reports across. Now, I'm not sticking up for him like that. The problem with this is, even if he's the linchpin, it's for us. So I know now they could come at us. Right? I don't hear anybody screaming about, they just passed something. Every Democrat, 50 of them voted yes. And it's going to fuck us over, but it's a tax reform bill or something. It puts more taxes on us. It raises inflation. It does terrible things. And it brings 87,000 IRS agents out more. That 87,000 aren't for the 100, let's say 1,000 to 100,000 millionaires. I don't even know if there's that. I don't know how that works. You think that's for them? That's for you. They want to know if you have more than 600. 600. I have to send $950 to Paula on the 28th every fucking month. So now I'm going to be red flagged because I got to Zelly my fucking rent. So every time we do something like that, even though it's marked, tagged, and traded, oh, you owe us. Let me ask you guys a question. I bought silver the other day. They taxed me on it. How you tax money on money? If I cash out, is the government going to come for that money? But wait, I bought it with money that was taxed from my monthly check. So that was already taxed, and it was already taxed when I was at work. because this went into my retirement. So it's taxed. Now I'm taxed again. I bought silver. I got taxed. Now when I change silver into cash or something, you're going to check? All right. How does this work if Bitcoin goes to 60 at the beginning of the year and goes to 20 right after tax season? I got to pay out all that even though I lost all that? What do you pay me back the next year when it's still at 20? And I didn't, and it just never went back. Oh, nothing. So you're getting your hand in on everything. This is why blockchain's so important, because you can't do that. They can't come and take it. You'd be like, I don't have it. It's not on an exchange. It's gone. The address is there where it went to. It's not labeled. I don't know what the fuck that is. I don't fucking know what's going on. We got to start being like, nope. All right. I was watching something with Joe Biden the other day. I watched clips of shit and me and Paula in the morning, we laugh and we laugh and we laugh. It looked like it was like a green screen, like a really good one, but it was too clear. It was too correct. It was weird. It didn't look right. It looked more like a Marvel movie. When they make Guardians of the Galaxies, they're in a giant green dome that just spins, and then the image that they need is on that spinny thing. It makes everyone dizzy and it looks fucking weird. But then when they put the special effect in it, that's how they get those spins with all the characters in it and shit. The whole place is lit up with cameras. His mouth was moving, and it wasn't part of his face. So they inserted a mouth over him and was babbling. And I'm like, that's some fucking South Park shit. That didn't look right at all. I called it right out. I said, that's not his mouth. Get the fuck out of here. His mouth doesn't move like that. It looks like it's been superimposed. Why does Nancy Pelosi go to China? Look, I know about all the topics, so we'll hit on a whole bunch of them. It's like, I don't want to say it's just a strategic mind. They're like, why would Nancy Pelosi go to Taiwan if they're all working with China? And it's obvious to us that she's going, to me at least, that she's going there because we take to the public eye, Taiwan's our peeps. They're our people, so we got to protect them from China, right? Yet they're right there. It's like Cuba and Florida. It's like mad close, right? Now, they got a whole bunch of company stuff that Nancy Pelosi's actually visiting over there. If they're working and China's like, if you go, we're going to launch missiles all over the place. And she's like, I'm going to go because we got to show them that we can fucking do what we need to do. And then she goes, but she's working with China. China Joe. She's with her and the corporations and all that shit. That's all attached to China. The Chinese threat goes off and she goes and then comes home. And there's all kinds of little weird things that happen in between. Yeah, they started moving on Taiwan. It didn't matter. She behind the scenes, she was like, I'm gonna go and say we're gonna show that we're with them, and you're gonna say we're gonna launch missiles. Guys, just please read 1984. I have the audio book saved in my fucking watch later on the YouTube channel if you want. I'll post it in all the rooms after the show. You can listen to the fucking audio book. All the people on the high table were China, Russia, USA, the high table. They were like the people that are in the know. And then there was the public who didn't know. Today we're at war with China. It's China, China, China. Good, yes, plus, negative, bad, one. And you're like, what are they fucking dumbing down their language? Yes. And then tomorrow we wake up and it's Russia, 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 us and Russia. Now it's USA and Russia versus China, China, China. They just do this every fucking day. And then they'll launch a missile at the gates of the US and be like, whoa, China wants a missile, whoa, and they get everybody scared. And then they're working and they're in control and they have new hours and new things they have to do, and they're not allowed over here, and everything's mic'd and audioed and searched and surveilled and under a fucking microscope at all times. Meanwhile, they're just eating the high table. The elites are just having dinner together, hanging out, and just having a good time. And then you, the people, are the science experiment in a giant lab, all in these cities and shit. And it's like, what the fuck? And the whole time you think the guy's getting, he's figuring it out, he's getting away and whatever. I don't want to ruin the ending. It's really good. You're like, fuck. Yeah, fuck. That's how that works. And this is where we're at. Just do the pushback. They trying to put a right across the street over here, but it's across the parkway, so it's like 2 blocks. They're trying to take a 1,500 room area in and build a new area next to the hospital, the emergency room in Jacoby, for Rikers Island mentally insane and all this other shit, right? So when you watch the news and you see what's going on, it's like a good thing. Like, oh, we're putting this here, blah, blah, blah. They didn't ask the community, right? It's the $1 million home area. Those homes are starting $1 million. You can't even, the shitty one is $1 million. So it's right here. This is going to bring down the entire, it's the last vestige in the Bronx that's beautiful. It's literally beautiful here. It's one step away from being fucking Fordham Road, which is a pile of shit. I'm just telling you what you think the Bronx is, when you think in your mind, it's turning that into here. Right here, the last part. It's like, bro, after this is the water. There's no more Bronx. Everything is taken over. Now, meanwhile, they have a giant barge at Rikers Island right there that houses thousands, and they won't use it. It's all political mumbo jumbo, right? Nope. They want to bring the housing market down and crash it. BlackRock has said we have $2.4 billion in cash. We have cash. That's just cash, not assets. They have trillions in assets. They said, why are you guys not buying the houses? They're coming down $100,000, $600,000 homes, $500,000. Things are starting to drop and move around, $50,000, $25,000 off. They said, we're not buying anything until the market drops, and then we're buying everything. What? We're waiting for the market to drop. They said this in their fucking, they weren't being interviewed. They were just doing a fucking talk. And I'm like, that's the head of BlackRock. He literally said, when the housing market crashes, we're going to buy it all up. And then you know what they're going to do? They're going to rent it to you. And there's going to be communities. And those communities are going to be owned, operated by corporate structure. So you're going to, if you want to live here, you can't have a dog. If you could have a dog, you could have one dog. You have one kid in this area. We don't allow children here. This time and this time we have this, and this, and during this time and this time, this, and this. It'll have personal security. It'll have all its own shit, and you'll be living under a rule of someone else. It'll all be subdivisions of other things. I'm looking for a home. There's all these subdivisions everywhere. I'm like, I'm not moving into a subdivision, so I got to pay an HOA fee, and you're my landlord. Fuck this. Why is all of this? And no one's buying it. So they're on the market 200 days, 400 days. No one wants these because it's not freedom. But there's going to get to a point, if we allow this to keep going, where they're just going to own it. It'll be like, you really have to go out into the boonies. I was telling Paula this. Upstate New York is going to be a vestige of the United States at some point. There's multiple ones, but I'm talking for the Northeast. Upstate New York, upstate towards on my side, like New York kind of goes out west from me. But if I go straight north, it goes all the way to the top, right, until it hits fucking water and Maine and whatever. There's like all these areas where you see the water going through, and it's Canada on the other side. Water, here's your other state, and then a couple of homes around and businesses around where the water is, the water line goes like that all the way around. It's probably like that everywhere, right? Everyone wants to live by the water. Like if the water shifts 15% inward, that's all gone. 15%, that's not a lot, right? But the earth it spins and it tilts and it's shifting. Magnetic north is not where it is, and the water's already started moving, which is why we're getting weird seasons and wet time here and dry time there. It's supposed to be the hottest time on record. I could show you stuff from the 80s and the 90s and 2000s where we had way hotter days. What are you talking about? It's not that hot. Yeah, it hit 100 degrees the other day. So what? I remember 110 days. It's just a small period of time where it gets really hot, and then it just isn't hot like that anymore, right? And then it gets fucking cold, really, really cold. As a matter of fact, it gets colder for longer. However, things shifting 15%. Magnetic north is off. All of a sudden, the currents are off in the water. You're getting great white shark attacks and in the water in Wildwood, New Jersey. What? Great whites? Oh, yeah. Everywhere up here. How did that happen? Well, the water changed. The current is changed. It's bringing up new things up north. So don't be surprised if we start getting like Virginia weather, right? Year round in North New York, because things are going to, water moves in and you own that land. Now you have waterfront property, very Lex Luthor-ish from the original Superman. He bought all in Arizona and the Vegas and all that, and then was going to detonate California into the ocean. And then everything he owned was the coast, and he would have been a trillionaire back then. So I'm looking for a home. I only want to go an hour and a half north because my whole family's an hour north. So I'm like trying to grab my mother, trying to get up there and get 5 acres or whatever. I could go really north. I could get like, I was showing Paul, it was like $400,000 for 12,000 acres. I was like, and I go, that I know it's ridiculous, and it's basically you'd live in the middle of nowhere, but how long before in our lifetime everything's building up? There's almost, as like, I go upstate where my brother is, and it's an hour up, and it's all the people from here, and it's packed, and all the main roads are packed. School on Sunday, church, this, that, the roads are jammed. You can't fucking do anything. So what the fuck do I want to go there for? Why do I want to go to the runoff? It's like everyone going to Florida or everyone going to Texas. Why would I want to do that? Right? Like you're just shoving me back in the pile again. I want my own stuff. It's going to build into those directions anyway. I mean, how long if you own, 100 acres, kind of a little up and out of the way, but still in range where you're all right. You're not like wilderness. I don't want that. I want to be able to drive 20 minutes to the store. But what if that 20-minute drive gets compressed down? People come to you and they're like, no, we're building this town up. This is what I was telling Paula. I don't want to buy a house and then worry about what you're doing in California. No offense to anyone I'm talking about. It's not really about you. It's about me and where I'm living, my community. So what if my community has apple trees and oranges, but no garlic? What if I become the garlic fucking king? What if we decide to grow hemp because there's no hemp anywhere? And we're just take 2 acres of land, an acre of land, and grow fucking hemp. And 3 times a season, cut that shit down. I don't even have to do it. I can call in a company that needs it and that like make a deal. Be like, look, this is my land. I'm going to grow this on it. Okay. You can come harvest it and take it off the property for this price, and it's yours. I don't even have to get involved. Yeah, it's a lesser price or whatever, but it's not about that. It's about pumping out love and greatness and what I enjoy doing. So now my community has hempcrete. Like I was thinking all these weird things, right? Like the white that doesn't stain. I checked this out online. I looked all over for it. There are white shirts that don't stain, right? But when you look at the chemical they're using in those shirts, it's deadly. It's not good for you. I bought one of those shirts. Didn't know that. Not that it was bad for me. It turned fucking brown anyway after like a year. And then I squirt mustard on it to check it. And it did all that. It kind of rolled right off. It didn't hold its balance. You know, I don't mean to be a weirdo. I got the shirt a couple of years. It's fucking holding up pretty well. You're telling me this white doesn't stain, it's going to last? So what happens if it's like a hemp thing, like a hemp shirt mixed with something else, and I'm the one that brings that out because I'm the one complaining about it? You know, I make a lot of joke about ear hair, right? This is just funny to me. What if I'm become the natural ear hair removal guy? On top of everything else, I make jokes with Kevin, shout outs to Sons of the Sun, because we're going to be doing some crazy shit. We have this whole joke about us and coconut oil and how coconut oil comes from the sun, and that's what I'm there doing, collecting Sons of the Sun coconut oil, right? So then people start recognizing us for the coconut oil guys, and then find out that we're the rappers, right? But the people that live out on the islands that love coconuts, they're like, these are our boys. They invite us out to all the shows and we party with them. And then we come here and it's like, oh, look, there's Frank, the coconut oil guy. And meanwhile, we're the rappers, right? But all of this could play out crazy. You can be both and this and that and do all these different things, but you got to go and get involved with it. I want my community to be positive community. Right. So what can I add here? What do we need? I know most people will go, well, a town won't need that. Well, then fuck it. I won't put nothing there. But it doesn't mean on my land I can't produce stuff. Right. What happens if we start making things in the United States that we don't want made in China anymore? And I decide to help with some of that. What if the entire area is wooded in this giant chunk area? So I have like 5 acres that are just fucking wooded and ridiculous. And I'm like, yo, chop everything down. Now that sounds terrible, right? Sounds terrible. Just chop it down. And then I guess they call this sowing the land. Now replant it like this. And then inside of that replanting, the area is built. Hemp will give you way more oxygen than trees. I'm not trying to knock trees out. I'm trying to say when you get land and you can't kind of do nothing with it, you can fix, you can move, I'm going to sell all these logs. I'll make a log house. I'm going to take this wood and make firewood for everyone, but then replant this whole fucking thing this way. So then I can give back to the whole thing. Maybe the water drainage is really bad in a certain area on the property. And then you go in and you plant these other plants and remove all the other shit. And it turns it from swampy to regular property now because you were able to transform it. This is the stuff I'm getting at. Why? And I know solar power isn't going to be there. We love the idea of solar power. We love it, right? Sons of the Sun. Oh, it's solar power. I love it too. In my lifetime, will solar power really be the biggest thing in this next round? I don't think so. I think we're going into magnetics. I think we're going into free energy. So, yeah, I want it. I'm going to go for it. Tesla's in New York. You know, we get brakes on all that other shit. Oh, here's another thing. You get land here in New York. I don't know if it's like, it could be like this everywhere. I was at the USDA and they give a 1/10 of an acre up to $10,000 off for every 1/10 of an acre on your taxes. Up to $10,000? Up to? They give you the checklist. You just got to make the area the way they have it on the checklist. So why wouldn't you make 2 of those right next to each other back to back? You're not giving the food to them. They're just giving you the tax break on it. It has to just be able to be like, so you can sell it right from there. Like it has to be a certain quality kept and your conditions have to be kept a certain way. But for the amount of money you'd be making. So New York taxes are high. You go up in some of these areas, it's $26,000, $30,000, $18,000. You're like, what? That's what I say. I don't barely make that a year. Any in the middle of that somewhere. I barely do it. How you fucking paying for that? If that's just your taxes. I got an acre set for this set up, but that food is for me. So they come in, they fucking check it off. They go, oh shit, here's your tax break. Here's your paperwork. Done. You know, you got to start doing things like putting your name, opening an LLC and putting your stuff through there. So if anything, God forbid, ever happens, no one could ever take your stuff, because we're in a time where we're fighting the enemy. It's difficult to do what we want to do. But can we set the solar farm up? Can we mine Bitcoin with solar energy? I think so. But we're getting around to the free energy. How long? I don't know, but we're right there. Keep working towards it. Maybe one of you are the one that breaks it through. You know, everybody makes fun of David Wilcock and stuff. He bought warehouses, giant warehouses, where you'd be like, they're like military warehouses, like those kind of dome top that run really long, and they're building flying vehicles. So you can make fun of him all day long. The guy's like on the forefront of releasing flying vehicles to the fire department for search and rescue. I don't know if that would be the fire department. It would be search and rescue, I think. Whatever. For them, so they could land in fire zones and just scoop people up and bounce. So they could just scoop up water right out of the... They could just hover like, won't go. Dump the water. Pick it up. I told you guys I had the dream, and they showed my car was flying. They were like, "You're not going to get another car. Your next car will be a flying car." And I'm like, "That's impossible." They're like, "Not everyone's going to have them. There's still cars." I'm like the Jetsons. They're like, "Yeah, but not." They're like, "It's been in your movies. Just watch your movies." And then you see like the Avengers jet has the 2 fans under the wing, so it can do all these cool maneuvers. Okay, now we have 4 car tires. They flip in and they spin their rotors and they take off. Same shit, same tech. And you're like, oh, look at that. They're like, you're thinking chassis and all that. We could take any vehicle and do that. We could make a flying version of it. It's not a big deal. You could have whatever shape. Mine looked like, it wasn't a Corvette, but it wasn't quite a muscle car, but it was bright red, shiny. It was so red. I was like, yo. And then when I got into it, I realized we were up on the top floor of this building, and it was just suction cup to the window or something. And it looked like a door or like a window that was open. It was big. And I just stepped into the car, sat in the seat. Paula was in the other seat. It just closed. And then we were gone. And I was like, oh shit. I had no idea we were up. I had no idea. I thought I was just walking into a vehicle of some kind. I didn't know I was on the top floor or one of the higher floors. And when I looked down, there were cars driving and it was congested. And the sky was like freshly new with all kinds of vehicles flying around. And the AI flies it, so you don't even have to do it. You just get in. It's programmed where you go, whoop, you're there. Your boy David Wilcock, who everybody makes fun of, is literally doing that right now as we speak, is doing that. His company is doing that. He bought the whole place. You see him up in the woods, and he's in his house, and he's crying about losing his wife and a whole bunch of money, and he's going to court with the Corey Good stuff. There's all kinds of shit going on with him. However, the other things he's doing are that. You keep that shit in mind. That's why, like with Alex Jones, he wakes up a lot of fucking people. A lot. Who cares if he's part of the script? You should only care that once whatever they do to him live on TV, they're going to do to you. So if they can make him pay out something for saying something, they can do it to you now. And who are you? I don't know. I know I'm not worried. I'm kind of small, but what happens if they start tagging people and they just go, okay, well, let's see what he said. And they just go back on me. They just catch you in an off moment where you're like, fuck yeah, I've done it. to show you like how they censor and don't censor, whatever. If you're not monetizing, they don't give a shit. All right, they don't care. There's other ways to get around their bull, but I'll be looking right into the camera with a fucking blunt in my mouth. Fuck the Joe Biden, crackhead Hunter Biden. Yo, Hunter Biden's laptop leak is so important, and nobody's realizing it, that the president's son is getting a foot job from his niece and then gets a blow job from her mother, smoking crack. What? I watched it, a bunch of stuff, and I was like, wait a second. That's his niece. That's like his brother's daughter. Okay. Obviously, they're running around calling him Pedo Peter. You know, Joe Biden pediddled every single person there. All his kids, all the other kids, everybody. I took long showers with grandpa. Probably shouldn't have done that. Very inappropriate stuff went on. Very inappropriate rape. Because they're kids. That's another nice way of saying he raped his granddaughter, raped his daughter, raped his son. That's terrifying, guys. Some of you Democrats that fought just to have the vote, we're going to beat Republicans. You're going to tell me I can't vote for my team? Look, I like the Jets too, but they fucking suck. They're not getting my vote for fucking Super Bowl MVP. They suck. Period. Okay, on a better note. Aaron Rodgers comes out. I'm doing all this off the top of my head, too. There's been so much. I've been so singular-minded. I'm fully aware of everything that's going on, and I'm not getting involved with it. I'm just showing you how you need to back out of it, but what breaks through. Finally, something feel good. Aaron Rodgers turns around. 2-time MVP after drinking ayahuasca. It's a loaded fucking comment. However, you go and listen to him on Joe Rogan, most humble guy you'll ever listen to. He tells his story, and you're like, holy shit. Where the creators are beginning to rise everywhere. We're popping through the matrix. So he's on with Aubrey Marcus. I think that was the guy he did the interview with. Fucking fantastic. Joe Rogan's buddy. God, I can't remember all the names right now. He was the writer on the show with Dave Chappelle. A little white Jewish dude. He's an atheist. Doesn't give a fuck. He goes and drinks ayahuasca. Not an atheist anymore. Not that he's touting God's fucking toe line, but he understands the idea of being all one, all source. Most beautiful story. John Belushi opened the weed farm. Right before he opened the weed farm, he fucking drank a ton of ayahuasca and had these experiences, and he fucking talks about them, and you're like, wait a second. You completely changed your life from what you did to what you do. Quit Hollywood, yo. He was doing, it's so, this used to annoy me growing up with James Belushi died, and then his brother took his place later in life in the Blues Brothers and played his character in the Blues Brothers. Now, growing up, knowing the original, I didn't really like that. I didn't not like his brother. I didn't think that was a cool thing to do for whatever reason. But when you hear his story about it, it was fun for a couple of years, and then it becomes this other thing. And he didn't know what to do anymore. He felt like he was in the shadow of himself or something. I don't know. And then he goes and drinks ayahuasca and sees his fucking brother and fucking hugs it out with him and has this giant fucking it's fantastic. And then he quits doing what he's doing and opens the Belushi weed farm. And it's amazing. It's actually, he only has weed on 5 acres, I think. And then he has 100 acres where he has like all kinds of crops growing and all kinds of shit. He's doing what we all want to do, but on the huge scale. When you're doing that kind of work, yeah, you're forced to deal with certain things in the 3D, but you're also like too busy to acknowledge how dark things can get. You're fully aware of the darkness. You've been on drugs and alcohol, and you know where it goes. But you're cutting it off and not allowing it to affect you and your creation. And as you move forward with your successes, your failures, and everything in between, and you just go, that's you anchoring the light and securing this place from evil. I don't know how better to put it. That's the master trick. Love yourself more. How do I love myself more? Obviously, you have a problem. You got to love yourself more. You get all the way to Buddha, and he says that to you, and you go, oh. And then some, new agers are like, he's such a wise man. And it's like, dude, shut up. You can go too far in love light and become a bitch. You realize that you're capitulating to too much to one thing, and it really, really reflects on your man bun. And I like man buns, by the way. I can't have one, but I have a chin bun. But it shows. So you can go whacked out onto that side. You create a balance and you move through, and that's the game. You take yourself off the board. You don't get caught up in it, but you're fully aware of it. You can have a conversation with the poorest of poor and the richest of rich. It's okay. All throughout. If you don't like something, it's cool. I don't like it. It's not over here. You can do whatever you want over there, but you ain't going to do that over here. And the minute you encroach over here, it's going to be stomped out immediately. That's it. And if need be, we all have to say something and do something. So they want to put this place, the Rikers place right here. And they tried talking to the news. They tried showing up at they changed the event where they were announcing it, and then the people get to speak. They kept changing the location, but already signed and passed it through illegally. It was 100% illegal. So nobody was talking to, and then one politician brought it up and in, and then was removed, and then the next one in passed it through and was like, no, it's a great thing or whatever, guaranteeing the price value is going to go down terribly. Look, these are dudes that I live on the ground floor. I don't have bars on my window. I will go buy a firearm if they put that place there, and I will keep it in my house and not care. At that point, I'm sorry. I can't trust anyone over here, man. If that goes through, 1,500 rooms is a lot of people where they can just freely walk around this neighborhood. Freely. I go outside and walk around. If I walk around the block more than 2 times, people get nervous because look at me. They're like, what is he doing? Is he looking at the houses? What is he? Oh, no, that's Frank. Okay, he's looking for the cats. I got to leave, and my cats are jumping in and out of the windows, and there's just a screen here. Like, what am I supposed to bar myself in? Like a fucking zombie apocalypse? You're going to have to do something, but the cat's got to get in and out of the window. I got to have a certain thing be this thing. And the old windows are old, and then this has got to happen now. They're walking around the fucking streets. They're getting everybody all worked up and nuts. Yo, you got to show up in force. So that they went, and they cut people off from talking. They fucking around. Now you find out. They literally started the construction, and they weren't supposed to, and people are just piled in over there. Protest day and fucking night. Up inside the place screaming, finding out all this like detailed information that's illegal for them to have done and bringing it to light before the place is built. I'm like, you got a call to action, you make your move, right? So I'll sign a paper. I won't go protest. I can't get on a list, facial recognition, and I got enough problems. I will sign it and pass it through, and I'm talking about it now. Obviously, I'm part of the group and in the room. I'm not even going to be here by the time it's built and up, and I'll fight for it. So you pick, you choose, you move through, and you keep it. You keep the evil back by doing your creations, and the game is done. That's it. You're not on the checkerboard no more. And then you make the great pushback. You say no to this. Coke and Pepsi, they're poisoning all the foods. Don't grow your own food. Well, I can't. Oh, I understand that. We all have to try something. So I'll give you an easier one. Toothpaste with fluoride. Use unfluorinated toothpaste. There you go. Put Colgate out of business. You don't need them. What do you need them for? When you learn what hydrogen peroxide and fucking baking soda does. What do I need Colgate for? A little bit of coconut oil mixed with this, and I got the best toothpaste ever. Okay, so this is what I mean. You just tune it out. You don't want shitty movies with LBGTQ, Thor, and whatever. You don't want that kind of crazy, weird shit being pushed at you as agenda. Don't go see it. Don't spend your money on it. That's it. I go around all the time. You'll see me in all the Marvel rooms, and I always write Moon Knight sucks. They go, oh, telling you Moon Knight season 2's coming. Don't threaten me with terrible shit. Moon Knight fucking sucks. That. When I was doing that for real, I was doing it on purpose. They're like, dude, everything's gonna suck in your reality. You're like attacking it. You're always gonna be involved in it. And I just pulled myself out, went back to being comedy. Hey man, I'm not involved. You want to make shitty movies? Go make shitty movies. It's not gonna ruin my life. I understand as a kid, I grew up and I wanted to see this fucking character, but obviously you suck. So I'll be there waiting in the wings for when it doesn't suck. But I'm not going to let it ruin my day. I'm going to go sing a song. Bye. Dance, ground, breathe, exercise, pull yourself out little at a time. You could still be in the grind up to here a little bit. You could always have fresh, clean water. You got to start somewhere. If you're not drinking fluorinated water and showering in fluorinated water, your mind is going to change immediately regardless. Shower head with the fluoride filter, I think it was $30 for the whole piece, and then the filters that you could flip around, so they last I would say 8 months maybe they last, but they're $20. So you spend 30 and you get the full thing. You hook it up, it takes 5 minutes. And now you're bathing in fresh fucking water. And when you look at, when I take my filter out and clean it or have to flip it over, it's disgusting. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. I got the one inside, the fluoride filters, the big ones where you drop it fill up the water in the top and it goes into the bottom. When I have to clean those filters, they're green and slimy and disgusting. And when I scrub them, it's like thick layered goop and hard crystallized stuff. I don't even know what that is. That's what you just drink right out of the faucet. Boom. So the minute you stop doing that, you're good. Don't drink anything from Nestle. That company should be set on fire. All the way to stealing water rights. You shouldn't be drinking their water. It's fluorinated. They take things out, they put them back in, and they say, oh yeah, it's just a salt differential. It's fluoride. Anytime they're fucking with that, just can't cancel it. Boom. You don't like Netflix? Cancel it. Get yourself a VPN and go on 123movies dot something another. It always changes, but they have all the free movies. You have a VPN with your ad blocker up and stuff. You don't have to worry about anybody being able to break into your shit. You just watch HD movies, but you gotta, God forbid, you buy a wire that costs $20 to connect your computer to your fucking giant TV or your little TV and do it right from your computer. Yeah, but it's not traditional. Listen, you want to get rid of one thing to have the free? It's the same thing, but now you got to click. You can't sit there and you got to use your computer. You walk over to it, you press play. Bang, it comes up. It's a different world. You have the choice now. You get to make it. All right. You can filter out nanobots. You can filter out nanobots. I use MMS. I do foot ionizing baths. It destroys the nano. When your temperature gets really hot, that's why exercising like hot yoga and I guess exertion things over a certain temperature, I think it's 94, 95 degrees or some shit like that, kills nano. Nanos can't like consistently stay in that. It doesn't work. You can tell your body to purge it. I drink MMS. It kills everything that's not supposed to be in your body and leaves all the good stuff. We've gone over the master mineral solution thing 100 times on the show. That kills everything. You'll be spitting out nano all day. You could drink ayahuasca. You purge nano out in one shot. Or you can drink a ton of fresh, clean water, and with your intent, tell your body to flush. There you go. You can just constantly, hot flashes do kill nano. When I'm under ayahuasca, sometimes I get like brutally hot where I feel like I'm going to faint even though I'm under. And I'm tripping so hard. I'm like, whoa, I'm going to just black out. I don't even know what's going on. And then you're like, and then it levels out. It's almost like your body created a fever to just kill everything. And then you're going to throw that up, or you're going to go to the bathroom later. It's all going to come out in that. It collects, it draws it. Those ionic foot soak baths, when you can do like 3 of them in a row, because they're like $40 at the store. If you go to when you get your nails done, you could do the foot soaks that turn water black. If you buy one of those machines, it's like $100 for the whole package. I think it might even be less, like to dip your feet in and have all the salt and whatever. But if you read the booklet that comes with it, it says it in the booklet that because of the things it does, they wouldn't allow him to put the product out saying exactly what it will do and cure and help you with. He had to keep it generalized. So it falls into like this healthcare thing that you can just get at a spa, and people talk shit about it all the time. Oh, your foot just turns the water black because of the black in the foot. I've done all these tests with it. That's not true. The salts interact with the ionic. It's just a coil. It's a fucking conductor. It's like a fucking with a rubber piece on it so you don't electrocute yourself, and you put it in there and it ionizes the water. You can feel the electricity going through your body into certain parts. So like your liver, then your teeth, and then all of a sudden it's like in your teeth though, and then all that bacteria is dead. It just dies. You get like stupid fresh breath. Your skin clears up. You get like that sheen that people get. I get it from sweating or whatever, and then it's 2 hours later and you're like, oh, look at this motherfucker. It just takes that away. The oily acne kind of stuff takes it away. I've noticed my internal organs, like how many times do you have to pee? What's bothering you over here? Does this section of your body hurt? Maybe you have a kidney that's not working right or something. It's like charging those areas. There's a whole thing online. You could read about all this stuff. So it's not just me blowing smoke at you and going, well, he doesn't really know what he's talking about. I do. I use this thing 3 times in a row, but that would cost you $120 at the fucking store. And you'd be there for 2.5 hours maybe. Or you could just buy it, plug it in here. You just sit in your chair, watch a movie. I smoke a joint, keep my feet in the bath. It runs it on a timer. You feel it moving through your body, and you're like, oh, that felt good, whatever. Water got pretty black, whatever. You dump that shit out. You clean everything. You refill it. You do it again. Then it really starts to feel crazy. You're like, oh, bro, I feel really good after. I feel really fucking clean because it's murdering all the evil shit in your body. And then you do it a 3rd time. Usually after the 3rd time, your body will go, that's enough. Because you've done so fucking much. But people just lightly get that done. The women at the foot store, and they think it's like, oh, little thing for my feet, cleans me out, whatever. If you did it 3-4 times in a row, once a week, for like 3 or 4 months, you're changing the way your body works with the pollutants in the atmosphere and the things that you're putting in your body and all these crazy things. So you're like, oh, that's pretty interesting. Well, yeah, it is. Anything that could help, right? If it helps 10%, why wouldn't you be doing it? Because it can't be labeled a certain thing. They don't. There's companies and corporations and things, laws set in place, so they can't tell you, yo, this will cure you of some stuff if you do it. They're not allowed to put that on there. They're like, no, you can't have that on there. This is not done by the Food and Drug Evaluation Committee, whatever. Then you look up their rules and regulations and you're like, well, obviously they're just not allowing him to say that. So they just put foot spa on the cover and sell it. Because the real cures don't cost anything. They're cheap as fuck. Ivermectin and all that other stuff, cheap, effective, efficient. Dandelion. God, I sound like Andrew Dice Dummy. Dandelion. Right? You can make soups out of that. You could drink teas with that. The heart start working great all of a sudden. Your natural allergies that you think are, I have allergies to everything in the pollination of the area. Eat some local honey. Make dandelion tea, the dandelions from your lawn, as long as you're not putting poisons on your lawn. You're using Roundup on your lawn. I wouldn't put anything in my mouth from that lawn. Word, cleaning with hydrogen peroxide. You can clean stuff with it on a level where you'd be like, oh, shit. You mean I could just clean this with this and it costs nothing as much as a cleaner? Like, I have cats everywhere. I can't have poison in my house. It's nice. I got a Clorox once in a blue moon when they spit and shit and whatever. I got to make sure that area is clean naturally. But when I put down stuff for ants and all that, I use First Saturday lime, all natural kind of weird side to tea tree oils and all kinds of stuff, and constant wiping, sweeping, moving, dusting. You got to do what you got to do. But it's in my routine, so it never clogs up my rotation. Right? The only time it clogs it up is when I'm away from my space. I'm away, I come back, and it's like been held down, but now all this other stuff has to be done because in my space, in my universe, in my world, the functioning works with me in it. Right? What are you supposed to have animals and not feed them? Right? Like my mother would say to me, well, you got more animals or you're going to never be able to leave. I'm like, there's no one I want to go anywhere with. I'm with Paula. I'm very happy. So happy. We'll just go and create our universe here then, if it bothers you that much. Not a big fucking deal, right? I'm building the life I want. I'm not here to fucking make you happy. Like, I hope that I'm not making you unhappy, but if my being happy is making you unhappy, then obviously we can no longer hang out because all want to do is grow some fucking fruits and vegetables, some weed plants, rescue some cats, make some music. Make love to the most beautiful woman in the world to me. That's it. I'm good. I'm fucking Santa Claus, baby. I'm with Mrs. Claus. I don't need nothing else. I got magic. I could do anything. Anything. Okay. With that, I want to say thank you for spending your time here with me tonight. I love you so much. I hope that any of the bit of the talk and the hangout just helps. I know this is kind of blamed sometimes, and it can't always be ayahuasca, DMT, magic mushrooms, even though it is. I love it. And yes, you should take the opportunities and go, but I've been with you guys for 6 years now, nonstop. That's why I've been taking these long breaks. Until we make contact, until we raise the frequency, I'm just going to be repeating my functions to you. It's like taking the same class over and over again. It's having the same talk, it's the same one now on a new level. So you're just going to hear it and go, okay, whatever. And then switch to Mike Jaco, switch to Amber, whatever, switch to Oldie McOldie, you switch to Tarot Card Anonymous, whatever. And they're all going to be saying the same fucking thing. It's always going to be the same thing, just mixed up and said by that person in the way they need to say it to you and convey it. We're all saying the same thing. You have to get with it or you're going to get fucking crushed by it. Ride the wave, breathe, ground, ETs. Yeah, I have crazy experiences. Not a day goes by where I don't have a full blast conversations with invisible entities everywhere. All the time. Garden fairies to Paula's guide. One of them we call Phil. So it's nameless. This is how it was. The nameless beings, right? Because I was like, what's your name? We are to remain nameless. Oh, okay. So your name's Phil. Okay. So you all look alike. I'm not being a dick. I can't see your face, but it's gold. I could tell that you're wearing robes. I can see all that. But you're faceless and you're nameless, right? Let me get that right. Yes. So how can I tell whether you're talking or Ralph? And he's like, there's no Ralph, there's no Phil. There's only me, and then there's this one and this one. I go, okay, let me hear your voice. Let me hear your voice. Okay, that's obviously a girl. That's a boy. That's a boy. So we were like, nameless Phil and the nameless icons. Like we make up like band names for them. Well, Phil, what do you think about this? Party was lovely. Who the fuck are you talking to? If I could just activate you for 1 second and you could see the 30 people standing in the room with us, but yet me and you are just standing here, you'd lose your shit. I'm having years of practice at this, and it's my life every fucking day, every minute of the day. Even when you're alone, you're like, I know I'm alone, but I'm not alone. I know I'm in the shower. I'm washing myself in the most private of areas. And are you looking at me? Are you asking me the question now? Did you wait till this exact moment so you could be like, I'm going to wait till he's washing his ass, and I'm going to say, hey, Frank, do you know how to ground? Do you remember this part? Or you're going to merge with this character? And I'm like, what? Now you're going to pick? And they're like, we're not watching you. We're here with you. And I'm like, oh, did I make Phil nervous? Are you watching me in the shower again? And we have these interesting mental conversations, but you would say, well, he's obviously going crazy, Frank. Really? Then how does I go through my day the way I do? And ta-da, magic. I don't have to explain it no more. I have to create. I have to do something. I have to get this tooth fixed so I can fucking finish my song. Kevin probably wants to choke me and throw me through the wall. And there's nothing I can do about it because I have this thing going on in my mouth. Anyway, so it's great to see everyone. Just keep in mind, we're all in the boat together. Come on, we're all going to get out of this. We're all going to be in a better place. It's going to work. It's going to be magical. It's not going to be just handed to you. This is the work time. Then when it occurs and the flip occurs, you'll be in a position to go, oh, I know how to move. I know, if you haven't been purging little bit at a time and knowing what you have and what's around, when it's time to move and you start picking shit up, you're going to go, when did we get this? I've been looking for this for 36 years. Well, then maybe you shouldn't have it. Get rid of that thing. What are we using that for? We literally, they don't even make screws like that anymore, but we got a whole jar of them. Do you plan on putting rusty nails into the back of the house with an old screw? With a flat Phillips head screwdriver? Who's going to do that? It's going to take us 8 hours a day for the next 6 months. I could just take the thing, zip with all the new shit. Why are you saving that? Well, we might need some string. Okay, I get that, but why do we have 12 bundles of it? Do you use that much string? Are we building trellises? Are you Spider-Man? Are you swinging from the house? No. Do we have enough for a clothesline? And if I have to choke out an intruder, yes. Do we have enough so the cats can play and we could constantly cut new ones when the saliva gets nasty and roll a crust all over it? Do we cut a new one and go? Yes. Then get rid of 8 of them and give them to the neighbor. Put them out. Maybe somebody will take them. These shoes are no good. Put them outside. Maybe somebody likes them. Is it no good for you, or are they no good? Is there a hole in the shoe? Hole in the shoe, throw them out. You don't really like them. Put them outside. Maybe bring them to the shelter or something and build bags. You're never going to know. So as you don't do that for yourself, that's a reflection of your internal self. So you wonder why you can't gain traction, but you're staring at a mess. Okay. Just points of reference. So you know. It's very easy to shout from the couch and be a little Nazi. All right. I love you guys so much. Hey, Michael's here. What's up, Michael? Lucky, Marcus, Dawn. Who else is over here? I don't know who else is with us. Lisa, Real Girl, Oracle. All right. Megan, G-Hog. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here and spending the time. Questions and any whatever, I'm here. I'm gonna be up tonight having a good time. I go to bed a little later because I gotta have a nice night's sleep and wake up and go right to the dentist tomorrow. I'm gonna be like, I haven't been to the fucking dentist in 8-9 years, and I haven't been to the doctor in like 5 or 6 years. This should be interesting. All right, love you so much. Stay fearless, and remember, the universe rewards bravery. Go check me out at IamWeAreFearless.com, and the new Sons of the Suns coming out in another couple of weeks. I love you so much. I'll see you next time eating that pudding.